So the thing with it is now coming back to pond. Obviously, stake 5
took too much.
they had a bad turn, but they were ahead of stake 3 on the way down. So their stroke rate was beating the other crew on the run.
And that's a strategy. You got to have a good strategy going in. You need a good strategy going into the turn.
Yeah. So it looks like Gord Delaney's team
is way ahead. Well ahead.
Yeah, Hickman Chrysler is way ahead there now. They're walking away with this, and it looks like second place is going to be a battle for
3 and 5
between Wilkin Auto Repair and Newfound Cabs. So we'll just wait and see, but it looks like, as you can see on your screen, stake 1 with an incredible good turn. Hickman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are walking away with this first midget male race. And there's a battle going now for second.
For second place.
And this is where these two crews now, when you're a young rower like this, the adrenaline hits and you're in a dogfight, and the muscles are screaming, but there's so much adrenaline going through these kids here now. You just give me more water.
Yeah.
And it
looks like they're coming ahead again.
Yep.
Stake 5 looks like they're.
Congratulations to Squirt security crew.
So so stake 5, Newfound Cabs. And this is what I was thinking, because even though stake 3 had a better turn, Newfound Cabs got down ahead of them, and so their boat speed was faster going down. So if they were going to be able to maintain it coming back, they had an opportunity to make up the difference, and it looks like they're making up the difference.
They're making up there
now. And they have. So it looks like Hickman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Gord Delaney's crew, is going to win this race, and it looks the stake 5.
Yeah. Because at this point now, again, the coxswain is screaming.
Yep. But for a young crew, for those who follow rowing, you can see that they're all in time, and they got a good long reach.
Yep. So there you go. Gord Delaney wins that one. So it'll be a battle now for
fantastic row.
Number 2
now for the presentation of the gold medal. First place in the Rec Room Female Memorial.
And coming through your bottom of the screen shortly.
With a time of 7:03:06.
It looks like
College of the North
stake
Atlantic.
5 might have it.
Yeah.
Looks like
Newfound Cabs.
Newfound Cabs.
But it was quite evident.
Got it, yes.
Quite evident that Wilkins Auto Repair put on because they were about a 3/4 of a length behind them with about 30 seconds left.
They picked it up at the last second.
Congratulations.
Fantastic row.
Presenting the gold medal and the trophy on behalf of the Rec Room are Chris Morris and Paul Totner.
So we got a bunch of tired young boys at the top of the pond here now, but what a well-executed race.
Yes. Yeah. They're tired now.
But there's these types of races and this type of exposure is what bring these kids back next year.
Yes.
And that's why the sport is in good hands. It's in good hands.
Yeah. There's a lot of young ones. Just keep it going and keep it going.
So have you got any more races today?
I'm done.
You're done. You got a pretty good voice. You've been out 5 times today.
Yeah, well, earlier in the year, about a couple weeks ago, my doctor told me I had to take 2 days off because I was to a whisper.
Yeah.
So I just could not.
Yeah.
I could not speak, and so anyways, I was. My voice was just gone.
All right, so we're going to go to Jason now. Here you go, Jason.
Geocenters of my riding, the batteries in James's riding. Okay, here we are with Member of Parliament, Mr. Nick Whalen. Nick, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, Jason. Love to be here.
So, we're in East St. John's. What do you know about Eastern St. John's?
Well, listen, St. John's East is a historic riding. It's been shrinking over the last 60 years since we joined Confederation. Sorry, 70 years since we joined Confederation. Because as more urbanization, the riding gets smaller as the population gets concentrated in St. John's. So now the dividing line is, Freshwater Road, Kenmount Road, and Water Street. So Seamus O'Regan has the harbor. I've got the airport, and this lovely event here. The 201st running of the Royal St. John's Regatta. Real thrill.
So we had a conversation just a little while ago about what you're going to be doing in about an hour.
Well, people might think that my suit is a little rumpled, and I agree, so it's about time for it to be cleaned. So I'm going to be in the Young Adult Cancer Canada dunk tank right at the beginning of Carnell Drive there by the parking lot for the Dominion. and I'm going to be there to help raise money for that great organization, wearing my suit jacket, probably put on some swim trunks, and if you think that you have the ability to knock me down, I'm sure it's probably $5 a throw. I don't think you can do it. You probably have a lot of frustration to take out on politicians, but I'm telling you, you can't bring me down. Come and prove it and support Yak.
So you're going to get 3 tosses for $5, and if you hate Nick Whalen,
No. Hate doesn't. If you want to support Yak, and if you have frustration to take out on politicians, generally.
So young adult cancer, they've done, Jeff Eaton and that crew, they've done so much work for personal friends of mine and for the community as a whole with their bruised bowls and charity goals that they do every year, a whole bunch of really, really good fundraisers. And it's nice to see local, notable, Todd Perrin as a chef was there, yourself, Chess Crosby.
Chess was just in now. There's a lot of people lined up, so people might have exhausted their frustrations already. I'm not sure. But what I will say is that they do a lot of great work, not just here in Newfoundland. They're a national organization. They help young adults with cancer across the country. They're sort of thought of as the forgotten generation within cancer. There's a lot of work that's done on children and old folks with their cancers, but this is helping people who are in the primes of their lives. And they're actually doing a study, a medical study on how community supports help improve the recovery process. And so I'm a big supporter of that initiative, their prime study. And I think that's what they're raising funds for here today. So I'm a really big supporter.
Well, now I'm extra excited about the fact that I'm going to hop in that tank a little bit after you. So if you think that you can, well, I don't know. I feel like we should have a bet. How many times do you think you're going to get dunked?
Well, what sort of happens to the politicians is the children just sort of run up and push the thing if they miss.
And so they should, Nick.
Yeah, and so I think that because of the love of the children, I'll probably be going in the tank roughly 25 or 30 times. I hope my back can take it. And if history is any judge, Jason, there won't be any water left in the tank for you, so you're going to be in a bit of trouble.
Any luck, that will absolutely be true. I hear it is freezing cold. Thank you, Nick Whalen. A pleasure as always.
Have a wonderful regatta.
You too, and we will be right back after this.
It's Amanda, and I'm back after a very nice lunch break, back with Diana.
Yes. Cooler.
And
it's cooler now.
It's cooled off a little, so we have these snazzy Rogers TV hoodies or sweatshirts, so just keep them warm. It's still comfortable enough to walk around in a t-shirt or shorts. It's not cold by any means, but not quite as hot as this morning.
No, much more comfortable for the rowers. And I think what I'm hearing too, because I did a bit of walking around, more comfortable for people walking around.
Definitely. So I believe we're going to set up this 3-boat race here. Race number 18, the Veterinary Specialty Center Midget Male Race number 2.
Awesome. So on stake number 1, it's the Ranger, Coxswain Joe McGraw, stroke Jack Drake.
And on stake 2, there's no one, but stake 3 in the telegram is the Western Star Trucks, Coxswain Dale Kearley, stroke Sam Jensen. Camden, Kearley, yeah.
We lost it. Okay. So, all right. So stake number 5 in the Miss India is Coxon Graham Roach. Of course, we all know Graham. Stroke Connor Roach. Number 5 is Mason Daw. Number 4 is Ryan Roach. Number 3 is Thomas Avery. Number 2 is Jack Hopkins. And number 1 is Will Scott. And I had to say those names because I'll have to tell you that, Amanda, 5 of those boys just got back from Corner Brook yesterday. They were out attending a HPP hockey camp. They all qualified to go out there and try out for a Newfoundland team. So those boys have been out with some pretty intense training and tryouts all week in Corner Brook. All super athletes. Will Scott is in that boat. He played AAA hockey last year. His father, Steve Scott, great athlete. So those boys are just back in the boat. So they're dedicated, obviously. So it's a testament of their commitment.
So those are the boys in Crosby Engineering on stake 5 in the blue, which is closest to the screen. So you're saying they've just got back from a multi-day hockey camp, and now they're hopping in the boat to row this race.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, to be young again.
So awesome for them. And I'm not sure how long they've been rowing, but anyway, they're all around 13, 14 years of age. So we'll see how they do with this today. Obviously, like you talk about the hockey, the transition of the hockey, the boys with the big legs, the big powerful legs. We know that's what pushes the oar through the water. So these guys, like I'm sure they're tired, but again, as you said, to be young again, I'm sure it's going to benefit them here today.
Yes, and some people might be wondering why in a male race some of the times are in the 6-minute mark, because we can see these time trials times range from 6:08 for Targa, 6:12 for the Western Star Trucks, and 6:29.9, so almost 6:30 for Crosby Engineering. But that's because the midget males row the half course, so they'll be turning at the half course buoys, just like we've been seeing the senior females do earlier. And so when they graduate to the intermediate category, that's when the men or these male rowers will race the whole full-length course.
Right, absolutely. So that's a fabulous vantage point there now we have. It's interesting. It's quite a wide gap between the 3 crews side to side. I always like being on top of the crew next to me and hearing their coxswain and having them that close.
Well, you had to learn to love it with the OzFM Key and Tech rivalry, didn't
exactly,
you?
Yeah.
Because you were always on top of each other, it seemed.
Yeah, for sure. But like a lot of experience in the coxswains in these crews, because these are young boys. They're just starting off their rowing career. Like I said, Graham Roach is in with the group. Crosby Engineering, so Dan Kearley and Joe McGrath, the other 2 coxswains. So they got all kinds of experience, and it's great to see them getting out and getting these athletes into the boat and getting them to participate Regatta Day.
Definitely brings a level of comfort to the boys who might be new to the sport, balancing the sport with hockey, school, maybe soccer or something else. So like Diana said, the advantage of having a 5-boat race is you're closer to your competitor. Some people find it motivating to be able to kind of stare down the person next to you. That makes you push a little harder. But on the other side, if you're further away, it's, for someone who doesn't like hearing their competitor, it kind of calms the nerves. You can get in your zone, do your own thing, just as these boys are doing here around the turn now. And there's also a bit of relief at the turn because, especially on the men's kegs, when they're close, you don't have to worry about collisions, hitting other boats. So,
absolutely.
It can be an advantage or disadvantage depending on what your preferences are to have 3 boats in a race as opposed to 5.
For sure. So they're in and out of the turns. Actually, it's still a pretty close race. Nice to see. I know the times in the time trials are pretty far apart, but these 3 crews look like they got a nice race going here right now. The pond has really settled down. It's a beautiful pond. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I know the crew here closest to us, which is the Crosby Engineering. Yeah, they got a nice stroke rate going. The timing is great there.
From this angle, it definitely looks like, even though they posted the slower time in time trials, it seems that the Crosby Engineering boys are pulling ahead. And sometimes for more experienced crews, there's not a whole lot of difference between your time trials row and your regatta row, but especially for boys or in the midget category, when presumably they're just learning to row, there's room to shave a lot of seconds off, make a big difference in your rowing from the time you row in the time trial in July until the time you compete in this regatta first Wednesday in August.
Absolutely. And we can see here right now, those boys are ahead. They're giving it all there now. They're almost at the marquee. They're hauling a ton of water. They got to keep it together here now. Graham has got to really get them to dig down.
That's, of course, Graham Roach, recent entrant into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. So, yeah, they got a nice, comfortable lead there now. We're talking about, you go.
Crosby Engineering, and
I'm
they're
calling
just
one there
about
now.
to...
He's having a seizure. I'm calling
they're
an
about
ambulance
to
here now.
cross the line here now. All right, so you can see at this point they're struggling to keep their heads up, struggling to keep their posture straight. You're doing all those checks. You want chest out, shoulders back. Still, you want to keep your blade buried for the duration of the stroke. You don't want to be kind of diving to your toes and letting your oar rise up. You want to be lowering it to the water, preparing for the catch to get a good leg drive through that stroke.
I work at St. John Ambulance.
And 5:16, holy smokes. Crosby Engineering takes off over a minute and 13 seconds from their time trials time. And then in second place, we have the Western Star Trucks coming in a second place. And then in third place, we have approaching here the Targa NL crew. So this race was exactly the opposite of the time trials results. So we saw, instead of them finishing first, second, third, as we have in time trials, it was just the opposite. So the team that posted the third fastest time in time trials came first. Second fastest time came second, that was the same, and then Targa NL, who was fastest in time trials, would finish in third today. So you never know how it's going to pan out here at the regatta.
So that's exciting, because I can tell you that the regiment that they go through at the hockey camp, the HPP tryouts in Corner Brook, I can tell you is pretty intense.
What does HPP stand for?
High performance program, with Hockey NL. So five of the six of these boys had to qualify to go to that, and they participated in it. It's a very intense 3.5 days of training. So it's I mean, for them to drive across the island, and now here they are in the boat, and to win that race is absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to talk to them.
I hope we do get to talk to them. I'd love to hear more about their high performance hockey, and they obviously have a bright future ahead of them. They should be pleased with that result. Man, what a huge jump. Over a minute off their time trials time. That is a great result. They should be pleased with that.
And I guess we know now why Graham Roach is in the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, he's earned his berth there today.
Yeah, he produces crews like this, young crews like this. This is a group that are probably going to stay together. All right, so those boys are coming in, and that's race number 18. I'm not sure if we presented the medals for race number 17 yet.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear it being announced behind us.
So they're on their way in now.
So people have been asking, what are the green buoys for? And those are mostly, that's where a lot of the safety boats are docked. So as they're not docked or moored up there now, you can't see the safety boats because they're all in use, but those green buoys are just a little notice for the crews to give that area of the pond a wide clearance.
First race. First place rowing in stake 1 with a time of 5:16.81.
So we have behind us the Global Pet Foods Midget Male 1 race medals being presented.
With a time of 5:38.22. Newfound Cabs. And third place rowing in
So there's still a lot of commotion here, not quite the same commotion as this morning, but lots of people lakeside, and I'm sure there will be many more coming down as we gear up for the championship race, which is at 7 p.m., I believe?
Yes, it is, yep. So we're going to try and get some championship crews down and have a conversation with them shortly. There's the crews are coming in now, race number 17. The winners from that are going to come in now and collect their medals, so we'll have a conversation with them. I do know, though, as far as I know, Gord Delaney had to hop in the boat and go to another race.
Sounds like what Gord would do.
Yeah, so we're not going to see him, unfortunately, up here, but of course, everybody knows that Gord Delaney's, you have your Gord Delaney's and your Graham Roach and your Patsy Murphys. They're the ones that are keeping it going here today.
And your Jackie Warfield.
And your Jackie Warfield,
Melissa
yeah.
Snow.
And Melissa, exactly.
So many people doing double time, double duty,
Yeah.
wearing multiple hats here today, and our hats go off to them for keeping the regatta alive, making it happen. And just to tell people the exact times. The female championship race will be at 6:30 p.m. Men's championship race is at 7 p.m. And of course, this will be the last year that order is held, because starting next year, the order of the championship races will reflect the first races of the day. So if the women row first, then they race championship first, and vice versa.
Yep.
So I think that's a positive change. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's only fair. I guess from myself and Amanda's perspective, someone who have rowed for years, you know, it is earlier in the morning, the water is better, and later in the evening, the water is better. So it's only fair to share that advantage to the males and the females.
Exactly right. So the earlier in the morning is better for calm waters, and the later in the night. So the latest spin, it used to be when we were first rowing at 8:35 p.m., but now the latest spin time is 8 p.m.
Yes.
So that's an often mostly sought after spot that gets booked up very quickly because people want to row at that time.
Exactly. So I'm going to actually get the winning crew now for that previous race over to have a conversation with Amanda.
Sure thing. So we see here in our screens, this is one of the crews in the race number 19. Oh, there's one of the newfound cabs babies. So it takes a village for regatta participants, and we have lots of mom, dad rowers who are grandparents, aunts, uncles. Kids are down to watch, and maybe they'll be participating someday. So up there is the newfound cabs medal winners. So in the next race, number 19, Prime Creative Midget Female 1, which we're going to get started in a moment. Gord Delaney is coxing her crew, and Gord has won many a championship, I believe most recently with the Robothan Mackay Marshall crew. And they're lining up on stake number 1 in the Lamb's Palm Breeze, and their sponsor is O'Leary Stables. So stroke Samantha Hutchings, Lila McCrate, Madeline Pierce, Hillary Power, Madeline Dyer, and Grace Evely. Then on stake number 2, in the stroke of power, we have the crew Smith Stockley, stroked by no other than Paul Ring. He's a coxswain, Paul Ring, stroke Mackenzie Perrell. On 5, Isabella O'Leary, Jessica Cantwell, Cecilia Martino, Chase Mitchell, and Renee Hines on that one. In stake number 3, crew Connors Construction / Oceaneering, coxswain Yvonne Knight, Emma Dwyer, Sarah Power, Evelyn Stagg, Riley Murrin, Abigail Grushi, and Lacey Manning. On stake 4, in the CBC boat, we have Big Ben's, and the coxswain for that crew is Kelly Buist. The stroke, Isabel Dunn. Number 5, Catherine Kerr, Rebecca Warham, Maggie Carew, Heidi Snow, and Selma Husick. And on stake 5, Freightway International, rowing in the Seahawk, the gold boat, coxswain Sandra Badcock, stroke Bridget Murphy Down, Lauren Stamp, Bridget Clark, Gabrielle Roach, Caroline Milks, Laura Goodridge, Spears, Maria Witten, and Leah Elms. So those 5 crews are just lining up at the start. This is the midget female race number 1. So these girls are around 12 to 14 years of age, and in a very brave feat are lining up to complete the half course, so 1,250 meters. Their times in time trials ranging from 6:24 for the O'Leary Stables to 6:58 for Freightway International. So we'll see what they can do. And if they can, we saw the midget boys take over, I think, 1 minute and 16 seconds off their time from time trials. And so I expect the midget girls might show a similar improvement, because that's sometimes what happens. The midget crews really get down to business when they see what a race is like, what the result is like after the time trials. They really capitalize on those 3 weeks or 1 month of training in between time trials and regatta day. So as you can see here, the coxswain on stake 3 of Connors Construction / Oceaneering was standing up, and that's to assign to the committee members who are responsible for starting the race in the starting box / timing tower, know that I'm not ready. Don't start this race, I'm standing. Because when the coxswains are seated, that the gun could go off at any time. So that's just one way to show the crews or the starters of the race that you're not necessarily ready to go. But here, everybody is ready, and we're doing those short strokes to get the boat moving. I have a feeling this is going to be a very tight race. These midget female race number 1 just underway here at the 201st Royal St. John's Regatta. Just as these girls make their way to the marquee, I'd like to thank the Spirit of Newfoundland Catering. And now we are going to throw to Diana to speak to some winners.
All right, so I'm here now with race number 17 winners, Hickman, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They're Cox and Gore Delaney is back on the pond. I'm going to get these guys to introduce themselves now.
Tyler Hubble.
Todd Mitchell-Moore.
Thomas Dyer.
Nathan Ryan.
Ryan Hanlon.
Ian Morris.
Ethan Keane.
So they're all pretty quiet now. So I'm going to ask you, how long you guys been rowing together?
I just started rowing last year, but they had a team for a few years before that.
Right. So you guys are, I think I've seen you guys before. So Liam Bridger, I know, is your spear, and he's gone to the West Coast. So you guys have won now a few years. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Won, not last year, but the year before, I believe.
Right. So are your times improving, boys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep at it year after year? All right. So next year you guys move up to men's, though, do you? You got one next year at men's. So next year's going to get a little harder. So a little bit more training this year during the winter.
Yeah.
So do you guys play other sports?
I play hockey and softball.
And what about the rest of you guys? Basketball? All right. Congratulations, guys. Good job. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, I'm going to bring it back to Amanda.
And congratulations to those winners of the race number 17. All right, so we're back to female midget race number 1, unofficial time of 2 minutes. Definitely not a boat length difference between these 5 crews yet as they head into the turn. It appears that stake 2 has a slight lead as they approach the turn, and that would be the Smith-Stockley crew. So veteran coxswain Paul Ring is steering his girls to a good first quarter for sure, and as they surge through their second quarter and prepare to enter that turn.
All right, so we're back to familiar names again now. Hey, Paul Ring. Gore Delaney's in this race also in stake number 1, and we just presented his boys who just won. We just presented them with their hardware. So hopefully now when we get these girls, Gord back in, we'll see what's going to happen then.
Those boys were excited, hey?
Oh yeah, they were very excited. And again, you're looking at, which is really great, which is what I like to see. You're looking at, kids basically who play a lot of other different sports, right?
Oh, here they go around the turn. It looks like from this vantage point, maybe 2 has gone a bit wide or maybe a bit deep, but they're still getting around there.
So we talked about earlier, there was a few disqualifications.
Yes.
So I actually took the time on my break to make to the beer tent.
Working overtime here.
I made it to the beer tent to support Kitty Bitty Brewing, and they actually had a great vantage point. They're right on the women's crew, the women's kegs. So apparently there was a few turns missed on the boy.
And also I heard the disqualification this morning had to do with coming in on the wrong side of the boat.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think they turned the wrong buoy and then also came in on the wrong side. So of course, very important part of the regatta rules is that you start on one side holding the toggle and you must finish the race on the correct side of the buoy. I've seen some heartbreakers over the years. People get disqualified, crews get disqualified, anywhere, any category from midget, squirt, or well, maybe not squirt, I don't know, all the way up to senior, and you got to abide by those rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the coxswain's got a big job to do, but we're seeing some good times from this female midget number 1. I think they'll be definitely shaving some time off their time trials time in this race.
Yeah, so they're on their way back here now. We're almost at the boathouse, and we're going to get ready to set up the medals for the male midget race. So as Amanda finishes this race for you, I'm going to try and wrangle up the winners from the last race.
And it seems that even though to me, from how I was looking on that drone coverage, even though Smith-Stockley's turn was a little wide, it didn't do them any harm because they appear to be in the lead on stake 2. That's Smith-Stockley, Paul Ring, and his stroke Mackenzie Perrell setting a good rhythm for the girls behind her, Isabella O'Leary, Jessica Cantwell, Cecilia Martino, Chase Mitchell, Renee Hines, and Amber Pollitt. So that's definitely Paul. I can see him there. I would recognize him from his stature in the boat. So you can see the ponytails going as these girls fatigue as they approach the finish, and they're just trying to muster up every bit of mental and physical energy they have to try and keep their timing together, keep their oars entering the water and exiting the water at the same time. We can see here in the boat closest to us, timing issues a little bit on the stroke side. We're a little bit off, but that's because we're nearing the end of the race, and these girls are tired, just trying to keep it together, no major mishaps. We don't want to lose any oars, as we talked about earlier. We want to keep all 6 in sync and get across that line. So that team, Smith-Stockley, who rode a 6:45 in the time trials, looks like they're going to be either under or very close to the 6-minute mark here, which is a phenomenal time for a midget girls team. So yeah, they'll be just over the 6-minute barrier, but wonderful time, wonderful row, excellent job to the Smith-Stockley midget female crew, followed by that looks like stake 4. So it was stake 2, then stake 4, and now I believe stake 1 is going to finish, followed by stake 3. And then stake 5, which is Freightway International, are just coming in behind them. So in the first place, we have Smith-Stockley. Second place, we have Big Ben's. Third place, O'Leary Stables. Fourth place, Connors Construction. Fifth place, Freightway International. So great rowing by these young girls. Brings my heart joy to see them down here participating, and makes me even happier that there's a midget female number 2 race. So 5 strong crews right there, your top 5 midget female girls crews right there. Anyone?
So it seems like a lot of these younger crews are taking a lot of time off their time trials time. That's what it appears right now.
Definitely. The Smith-Stockley crew took off, they were just over 6 minutes, and their time trials were 6:45.
Wow.
So they should be pleased with that.
Yeah, that's very impressive, for sure.
So in the next crew, the midget female number 2, we have East Coast Mortgage Brokers rowing, and I just want to send another special shout out to Nikki Carew. Nikki comes from a rowing family. Of course, Denise Carew, a coxswain. Mike and Terry Carew, heavily involved. And also Krista Carew, a championship rower, stroke with Robotham Mackay Marshall. Very solid family, very involved, invested in the regatta. I know their minds are elsewhere now because Nikki's going through a hard time, but we just want to say we love you, Nikki, and we miss you here at the regatta. And we hope you get better soon. So what you're seeing here now is crews backing as they back away from the shore. So Paul is just getting his girls, who are no doubt excited after rowing that excellent time, and he's just trying to let some of the congestion dissipate as the 2nd to 5th place teams make their way back to the dock. And of course, when these midget girls head into the dock now, they'll be able to dock at the winner's dock, which is an exciting privilege. So that is the berth with furthest down to the jog, is what they call the winner's dock. So there's a special place on the dock where the first place crews are supposed to go. So in a lot of ways, this row from the top, after you've finished your race, back to the dock side is a bit of a victory lap. After working so hard all season in multiple regattas, multiple competitions, this is their time to shine, time to wave to their families, time for that one time when you're allowed to take your oar off your hand and wave to the people on the shore. This is where you can do that. So yeah, I hope those girls enjoy it. They worked hard. They deserve it.
Yeah, I got them right here. They are the winners.
You can see there, that's the stroke of power. They're rowing in the stroke of power, and we had a crew earlier, Newfoundland Power, that 6th place men's team, just a couple of seconds away from making it into the championship race, but certainly Newfoundland Power, a longtime sponsor of the regatta, so much so that they even have a boat named after them, along like other longtime sponsors such as the CBC, the Telegram, Cougar helicopters. Yeah, so we can just see some of these boats and crews returning to the dock.
Results from race number 18, the Veterinary Specialty Center Midget Male 2 race. First place rowing in stake 5 with a time of 5:27.84, Crosby Engineering. Second place rowing in stake 3 with a time of 5:40.71, Western Star Trucks. Third place rowing in stake 1 with a time of 5:51.53, Targa, Newfoundland and Labrador.
All right, so we have the official race times for race number 18, the Midget Male number 2, race number 18. So in first place, receiving their medals very shortly, was Crosby Engineering. Their official time was 5:27.84, so a minute and 2 seconds actually off their time trials time. And second place on stake 3 was Western Star Trucks, official time of 5 minutes 40 seconds .71 for Midget Male race number 2, or race 2, race number 18. And then Targa NL was in third at a time of 5:51.5. So great job, boys. Keep up the great work.
All right, so we've got the second
so they weren't
place
listening
crew,
just
the
then.
Western Star Trucks, with coxswain Dale Kearley, stroke Sam Jensen, other crew members Camden Kearley, Eric Butt, Noah Boone, Will Earl, and Jonathan Adamson. Congratulations. Presenting the silver medal on behalf of the Veterinary Specialty Center is John McKenzie and Rowan McKenzie. Congratulations.
I can give a mic. Okay.
Now, the home again segment is first, all Anglican East, and then I'm on after that. So.
Fan clubs are good.
Test. Good. Good audio. Okay, so I'm standing here lakeside with Maureen Limburner from Home Again Furniture Bank. As your t-shirt shows, show the crowd. Let's talk a little bit about what Home Again is.
Home Again is a nonprofit organization that aims to end furniture poverty. So each week we deliver furniture and housewares for free to homes across the Northeast Avalon.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what furniture poverty is? Because I'm aware that people may have a hard time accessing some necessities in their life, but I've never heard the phrase furniture poverty before.
Yeah, furniture poverty refers to the fact that a lot of people live without basic furniture. So there are many people on the Northeast Avalon and elsewhere that don't have beds to sleep in, a sofa to sit on, or table and chairs to share a meal around.
So in your capacity with them, in setting up, collecting, distributing, this is a project that's been ongoing now for about how long?
3.5 years, just over 3.5 years, yeah.
And there's also an association here, of course, with one of the major regatta sponsors this year, the Anglican East Diocese. So can you talk a little bit about what it feels like to be associated with somebody who's doing so much for the community in so many different ways?
Absolutely. The Anglican East NL has been a fabulous supporter of Home Again from the very get-go. They have gave us our Kickstart money that enabled us to start. We've got office space, we have volunteers, committee members. They've come out in many, many ways to support Home Again to make sure we are able to function.
That's absolutely excellent. So if we could send a message to everybody who's watching now, into the audience, what types of things, if they have, that is in good condition, that we can, where they can go with it, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So good condition are the key words for sure. So we accept gently used furniture, any type, sofas, tables and chairs, love seats, beds, dressers, anything you can think of. And simply you can check our website, homeagainfb.ca, or email us at info@homeagainfb.com.
Absolutely amazing, Maureen. Thank you very, very much. And as we conclude this conversation, I'm going to get my good buddy and co-host from Out of the Fog, Thursday nights. We'll call that Out of the Fog Late Night, Out of the Fog Live. This is Mr. Donnie Cody. Hey, Donnie, come on in. Thank you, Maureen.
See you later. Thank you so much.
Kissing babies, you a politician?
Oh my God, it's a good life we're living here. What do you have, buddy?
I'm just hanging out. I'm hanging out at the lake. It's a beautiful day.
You know
There's
what?
lots of
It's not
people
too
around.
sunny, not too sunny. A nice little overcast, little moment helps the day go smooth. No one's sweating to death there, are they?
Keeps the...
I know exactly.
Sweat
Yes.
off the brow.
Otherwise, I'd be in my trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
This
such
guy
a
is the
diva.
hardest working dude in show business. This is a long day down here at the pond. So many people, so much energy. I don't know how you do it, bro.
Caffeine?
Yeah, that's what it is. All it is. And a
Mostly.
little boot class.
And
maybe.
ginseng and
Oh.
taurine. I think that's the stuff that's in the energy.
There's B6 or St. John's Wort. I mean, we're all just living our vitamin lives here these days, right? Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this upcoming season on Out of the Fog on Thursday
Yes.
night.
I can't believe it's our third season going into it, which is crazy. Like, where does the time go? But me, you, and Melissa have had such a great time meeting so many people locally, so many guests, musicians, not-for-profits, businesses, all sorts of wicked people trying to make change and do good things across the province. And it's so cool to get to hang out with them every Thursday night, especially with Slim Macho on the tables, which has been a laugh. My little Rod Roddy moment going on there, right? So it's been great, man. Super thankful and super excited for the fall. So many people are going to be coming on the show. So many cool things that everybody deserves to be talking about, and it's going to be great.
So, do you have plans? I know you're a planner. You're a planner, right? Like, you like to know ahead of time everybody that's going to be coming in, when they're going to be coming in, because, like, you're a man about town. You're a busy dude.
We
You
like
got
to
some
do
stuff.
things. Don't we like to make it all happen? Yes. So between company life, yeah, I like to plan to make it all go down smooth because I want people to tune into the show and feel like we know what's going on. And it's a lot of work to organize a show. A lot goes on behind the scenes, and the volunteers at Rogers really are the heroes. They come in, they do all the roles that you'd appreciate, and I'm just thankful, and especially Linda and Perry and Fisher and everybody behind the scenes. It's just wicked.
Okay, one last thing before we go talk to a couple of winners over here.
Yep.
Can we talk for a little bit about Rogers Ignite?
I feel like I've been beamed up into the super universe of how TV was meant to be.
Right?
The fact that I can pick up my phone or my remote and hit a mic button and say everything I want to say, and then it happens on the TV, that is the future, baby.
Like, you can literally go watch Mount Pearl Anthem on YouTube.
Over and over again. And by the way, guys, if you have not YouTubed this yet, check it out. Jason killed it. And Mount Pearl, I mean, they're winning 1,000% right now, man.
100,000%. All right, Donnie, always great to see you, man.
You too, love you too.
Thank you very much.
Peace, guys.
And let's go have a conversation with Diana and talk to some more winners.
Hi, so I'm back. No. All right, so okay, I'm back now with the winners of the Midget Male 2 race, Crosby Engineering, and I'm going to get these guys to introduce themselves. To my right, everybody knows, but you go ahead anyway.
Graham Roach.
Will.
Will who?
Scott.
There you go.
Jack Hopkins.
Ryan Roach.
Thomas Avery.
Yeah, speak up, boys.
Mason Daw. Connor Roach.
All right, so guys, congratulations, first of all.
I'd like to thank the sponsor, Dean Hopkins with Crosby Engineering.
Awesome, good job. I want to add a note that 5 of the 6 of these boys just came in from Corner Brook yesterday, is that correct?
Yes, they were trying out for the hockey out there. The A is the boys, or?
For the HPP program?
Yes, and so it's their first time out in over a week, so they really rode excellent, I must say.
Right.
Really proud of them.
So I was talking a little bit about it earlier. I was saying how the H&L, the HPP program is really intense. And well, it's been a hard week for the boys. I'm going to get Will to talk about that. Will, talk to me about the week. How was it out in Corner Brook?
It was deadly out there. What a time.
Was it hard? Did you work hard?
Yes, it was hard.
It was hard. So how were you guys today? Were you tired?
Yes.
You were. You didn't. So I'm going to tell you, we watched the race coming in, and I'm going to say that the boys looked really strong coming in. You rode awesome. So what's the favorite sport, hockey or rowing?
Hockey.
Hockey. But you find the rowing is good? You cross train with the rowing with the hockey. Is that good for the hockey?
Yeah, definitely.
So what kind of training, off-ice training do you do that will help you with the hockey and the rowing?
Not really.
Nothing at all. Great. So, Graham, do they do anything off ice?
Now.
I know they. I know.
I wish they were like that in the boat.
I don't suspect they're always like that, are they?
Yeah. No, they're not all the time. No.
Anyway, boys, congratulations and enjoy your day. Good job.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to go back to the race here now with Amanda.
Awesome. Love seeing the youth, love seeing the energy. So there is a race in progress here, about 3 minutes and 17 seconds in to race number 20. We didn't get a chance to queue up this race, so I'll run quickly through the crews and stakes and sponsors. So stake 1, Black and McDonald rowing in the Miss India 2. Coxswain Gary Squires, stroke Julianne Osmond. Number 5, Kate Squires, Abby Tizard, Fern Zadell, Alexandra Smith, Michaela Driscoll. Stake 2, the Orthodontics Associates rowing in the Marine Institute. Melissa Organ is the coxswain, stroked by Samantha Madigan. Number 5, Sarah Edwards. Number 4, Brooklyn Bishop Wade, Claire Neary, Annabelle Hickey, Taylor Clow, and Spears, Sarah Smith and Candace Pollitt, and coach Carol Ann Edwards. Stake number 3, East Coast Mortgage Brokers. In the coxswain seat is Rich Bailey, who we were speaking to earlier today, once already, so this is at least his second row. In the stroke seat is Emma King, number 5, Sarah Maloney, Juliet Hudson, Mia Normore, Carly Saint, Amy Butt, Spears, Catherine Lake, Katie Bittiscombe, and coach Kelly Saint. Stake number 4, O'Keefe Roofing in the Telegram. Coxswain Megan Willett, stroke Megan Wall, Ava Blackwood, Gracie O'Keefe, Peyton Fleming, Lauren Manning, and Kira Green. So this is crews who were seated after time trials number 6 to 9 in the female midget and number 2 category. So we are just seeing them come up to, I believe, the marquee mark or just beyond it, and they're going to be, yes, there's a marquee as they're going by it. That looks to be stake 1, which is Black and McDonald.
And stake 1, it appears, had the fastest time in the time trials.
Yes. Oh, no, so that wasn't stake 1. Or maybe it was stake 1. It's hard to tell.
No, I think that's stake 3 there now, actually.
Because if it's the winning team.
Yeah, we might, and we might
in blue.
The camera that we're looking at now, we might have all the crews in the camera range.
That's true, because in the lead, definitely from this angle, is the East Coast Mortgage Brokers. And they're rowing for Nikki there today. I know they are. She's so proud of that team. So their time, this stake 3, East Coast Mortgage Brokers in time trials, was 7:40.99. Again, they're just around the 6-minute mark here. This is going to be a huge row for them. Oh, they got to keep rowing, girls.
I think they're on the wrong side of the buoy, are they?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
They're on the wrong side of the buoy, I think.
I can't watch. Kills me.
Are you sure they were on stake 3?
I hope so. I don't know what that was about. It looked like the stroke stopped rowing as they were approaching the finish.
They're on the wrong side of the buoy.
Well, we'll have to wait for the official results to see if what was going on there for sure.
The crew just came in on stake 2.
It is not normal for a stroke oar, as you know, because that's where you said, to stop rowing before you cross the finish line.
So I don't know if she sensed or something, but
well, I'm sure we'll hear if they did cross on the wrong side of the buoy. We might not get the official results. Perhaps the stroke just stopped rowing because she thought they were at the end. We will have to wait and find out.
We're going to present the official results for race number 19, the Prime Creative Midget Female 1 race. The official results: first place rowing in stake 2 with a time of 6:05.60, the Smith-Stockley crew. Second place rowing in stake 4 with a time of 6:17.08, Big Benz. Third place rowing in stake 1 with a time of 6:22.04, O'Leary Stables. Fourth place rowing in stake 3 with a time of 6:25.01, Connors Construction Oceaneering. And fifth place rowing in stake 5 with a time of 5:47.68, Freightway International. Congratulations to all the crews. We'd like to do a medal presentation now to the first and second place crews.
All right, so we've got some official race results from race number 19. We've got the official, we said the places that they finished in, but starting with the stake 2, who were the winners, Smith-Stockley, their official time was 6:05.6. That's for race number 19, the midget female number 1. So not the race you just saw, but the one before it. Second place on stake 4 was the Big Benz. time of 6:17:08. Third place, Stake 1, O'Leary Stables with a time of 6:22:04. And then in fourth place on Stake 3, Connors Construction Oceaneering, a time of 6:25:01. And last place on Stake 5 was Freightway International with a time of 5:47:68. So great rowing by those midget females, and I'm interested to hear the official times for female midget race number 2, which just wrapped up here next to us, to see if there's how much they've improved.
So that was race number 20. I think we still got to figure out if they finished on the wrong side of the buoy or not.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure it will be evident from the look on their faces as they come in, because when a call like that is made, they let the crew know as soon as possible.
Yep.
And sometimes the crew knows themselves if they didn't come in on the right side.
Totally. And we could be mistaken, because that was a 4-boat race. So I'm not really sure if I was a bit confused as to whether or not they did finish on the wrong side of the buoy. But anyway, well, I guess we'll find out pretty quickly. So we're going to try and grab some more winners from race number 19. The second place crew are just getting their medals. And the winner was Paul Ring. So we're going to have Polly Ring back again.
Of course, Paul Ring and his daughter Tina have been rowing for a long time. They're household names down here at the Regatta. And we'll be speaking to Mr. Paul Ring and his rowers, his winning athletes, after this short break. So we'll go to break now.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
set up.
And the manager for Tula Apparel. Apologies for that mistake. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so we have some winners here waiting in the wings that we're going to chat with. But first, we're going to set up race number 21, the Leverett Group Midget Female race number 3. And that is the, on stake number 1, Mary Brown's Avalon Mall in rowing in the Stroke of Power, Coxon Melissa Snow, and stroke seat Olivia Purcell. This is a 3-boat race, so there'll be no one in stake number 2. Stake 3, Jost Winery. And they will be rowing in the Lambs Palm Breeze, Coxon Jim Goss, and stroke Ella Goss. Jim Goss, a friend of mine from the triathlon days, and that is, of course, his daughter in Ella Goss in the stroke seat. And on stake 5, we have Smith-Stockley 2, rowing in Smith-Stockley 2 is the crew Tim Hortons Calls, Sam Roberts, Cement Finishing, Coxon, Brian Healy, stroke Lauren Harris. So we can see this 3-boat race getting ready to go.
All right, so we set up first right now. Race number 19 with Paul Ring. So I'm going to throw it.
Winners of the female midget race number 2. I know who this is standing next to me, but I'm going to get the girls and Paul to introduce themselves just right now.
Paul Ring.
Renee Hines. Cecilia Martino. Chase Mitchell. Isabel O'Leary. Amber Paulette.
Jessica Cantwell.
You guys had quite a row out there. How was it from your perspective, Paul?
They rowed really well. I'm proud of that.
And you taught them how to do that?
Well, a little bit. Yeah, so, they're trying to teach them one stroke at a time. And it's what paid off, I think.
One stroke at a time, one step at a time is a good motto for a lot of things. Is this a first-year crew?
Oh my God, no.
No, this is their fifth year.
This is your 5th year together?
Yes.
How did you guys come together as a crew?
I don't know.
She's shy, okay. Anyone not shy want to tell me about your crew? Oh, great. What's your name again?
Cecilia Martino.
Okay, Cecilia, how did you guys find each other? How do you all know each other?
They're related, and we're all friends with her. So we joined.
So this is your grandfather, is it?
Oh, no.
Wait, are they related?
Yeah, we are, but not grandfather.
Okay, distant relation. Well, anyway, they had him at the helm, and definitely he helped them out. How was the turn?
The bow side did a really good job.
Way to go, bow side. Raise your hand if you're on bow side. Was it a hard turn?
It was good, yeah.
It was good. Awesome. Will you girls come back and row next year?
Probably. Yes. Yes. Hope so.
Well, how about you? Will you be back with the female midgets next year?
I hope to come back, yeah.
She's doing a circle thing with her hands.
Okay, circle thing with your hands, I think means wrap it up. Congratulations, girls. Great work. Over to Diana.
Hi, okay, so I'm back, and we have race number 21 on the go. Amanda just spoke to the ladies that were in race number 19. So we are at 2:09 here. The girls we had the stakes set up for you. So right now the girls are heading down the pond, and they're getting ready to go into the turn. Pond conditions are still great. Amanda's back with me now, and we're going to try and grab winners in from race number 20. Seems we're in a bigger spot here. It's more congested. It's harder to try and get people in here, it seems like. But it's important. We want to talk to all the winners, especially all these young crews who put so much hard work into it. It's important to acknowledge what they're doing.
Definitely, and we want to see them back. I was just talking to those Smith-Stockley girls, and I said, are you going to be back next year? And they said probably. So hopefully that turns into a yes. So it looks here that the stake 5 is going on a bit of a strange course, or maybe they're just choosing for a very wide approach to stake 5.
Yeah, so that's Brian Healy coxing that crew. I'm not familiar with him.
Nope, they've got a few sponsors who looks like they've come together to sponsor the team here. Tim Hortons calls Sam Roberts Cement Finishing, so which of course is great when you can get the cooperation to do that. So great angle of the turn here. You can see the stroke side is holding water. Number 6 and 4 and number 2 is setting up the balance. As 1, 3, and 5 just haul their arms off.
Well, there's only 3 boat race now, so 5 are out and gone back. And
no, 1.
Oh, sorry, 1 are one are out and gone back, and 5 took a little bit of a wide turn. It's almost like they rode around the turn there.
Yep. So stake 1 taking off and headed back before the rest is Mary Brown's Avalon Mall, followed by Jost Winery, which, as I mentioned, Jim Goss, a friend of mine from triathlon, and his daughter Ella Goss is on stroke. And back in number 1 is Jenny Carter, who is the niece of champion rower Katie Wadden. So I'm sure, I have no doubt she's been inspired by her Aunt Katie to pursue this rowing. And then stake 5, who was the 3rd out of the turn and is last heading back, is the composite crew from Tim Hortons called Sam Roberts Cement Finishing.
So we're heading up to the marquee there now, unofficial time of 4:23. You see the crowds along the bank there for sure.
Yeah, of course, the new beer tent drawing lots of attention. And when you turn around those boys at the half-course kegs to hear the hoots and hollers coming from the beer tent is very special. And I know I have friends today who have a long tradition of watching this race from the Legion over there on Pleasantville. So I'd like to just give a shout out to the huddlers from my high school group. I know they're at the Legion. I know they're having a great regatta day over there. And they've done their day in the beer tent, and they cheered for me for a good few races from that beer tent. So I hope they're having a great day to the huddlers.
3rd place rowing in stake 4 with a time of 7:18:33, O'Keefe Roofing. And 4th place rowing in stake 5 with a time of 7:26:79, Orthodontics Associates. Congratulations to all the crews.
So unofficial time of 5:27.
We're now going to move forward with the presentation
Our
of the medals. We'll start
crew
with the
in
silver
first there
medal
are just
first,
past
which
the
will be
marquee.
presented to the Black and McDonald
So they have a
crew.
pretty big lead over everybody else.
To the winner's circle area.
And we're going to try and get some more winners here now for Amanda to have a conversation too.
So Black and McDonald.
We're going to get Amanda now to finish out this race here, and I'll get the winners for the other race.
Yep, so Melissa Snow is having a
Osmond,
successful
other crew
day for
members,
sure.
Kate Squires, Abby Tizard, Fern Zidell, Alexander
And in the
Smith,
screen there now,
Kyla Driscoll,
I believe that's
Sarah
the
Kayla
Tim
Grover,
Hortons
and Coach Byron
calls
Osmond.
Sam Roberts
Congratulations,
Cement
ladies.
Finishing.
Presenting the silver medals on behalf of Air Miles are Kevin Galbraith and Leanne Pitts. Congratulations to the Black and McDonald crew.
So, unofficial time of 6:22, we have the first place crew crossing the line on stake 1. And that's the Mary Brown's Avalon Mall. So stake 1 was first. And I think we're gonna see stake 3 here following closely behind them. The drone footage here. Oh, maybe I made a mistake because this looks like this is definitely the Jost Winery crew. So they came second. The angles with the drone are a bit difficult to look at sometimes. So maybe that was stake 5 who crossed the line first. And it wasn't the Mary Brown's Avalon Mall. We'll get a different camera angle and see. All right, so that brings the conclusion of the female midget
Congratulations to the Black and McDonald
race
crew.
number 21 to a close. And that is the end of the midget category. So we've seen there was 1 midget boys race, and then there were 3 midget female races, and now we move on to the squirt races. So this is one of my favorite parts of the day. I have got to say, it's so great to see these squirt crews out there. They do a 1 shot, 1 way from the halfway half-course kegs to the top, and they wear life jackets, and I believe they have to be over the age of 10, and you can participate in the squirt category from age 10 to 12.
And Katie Biddiscombe
So a little bit of commotion behind me. We can see in the screen here Melissa Snow's crew just taking it in.
The gold medals on behalf of Air Miles are Kevin Galbraith and Leanne Pitts. Congratulations to the East Coast Mortgage Brokers crew.
So that's Mary Brown's Avalon Mall rowing towards the dock there with Melissa Snow standing up and commending her girls on a great race. So they're just kind of winding down here, taking it in. So we'd just like to thank here the Anglican East Newfoundland Labrador, proud to be an inclusive community that values the diverse members of our province. Big part of sponsoring what's happening here today, and of course Spirit of Newfoundland Catering, and they're still accepting entries to win that barbecue that was donated by Home Depot. So you can visit the Rogers Ignite tent and try to win the barbecue at the head of the pond. And Mary Brown's Avalon Mall here, really, as you approach the dock, you really got to take your boat speed down, and sometimes that's accomplished by taking the pressure off of your full stroke, or you can also take it down to a touch, which is arms only. So you're sitting up straight and just kind of dabbing with your arms, as the Mary Brown's crew you see in the screen here is doing now, just trying to dock the boat. Better safe than sorry on these docking episodes, but these crews do this every day, so they're pretty comfortable with docking at this point. And as you can see now, they're close enough to get to the dock, and so they let their oars go by the sides.
Congratulations to the East Coast Mortgage Brokers crew.
So we have the East Coast Mortgage Brokers winners just being ready to talk to Diana. Okay. So, some very excited girls getting ready to chat.
Good. All right, so I am here with the winners of the Midget Female 2 race, East Coast Mortgage Brokers. Is that it? Yeah. Congratulations, girl.
Thank you.
I'm going to get you to introduce yourselves.
I'm Catherine. I'm Katie. I'm Sarah. I'm Carly. I'm Juliet. I'm Amy. I'm Emma. I'm Mia.
Rich, of course.
All right, so everyone knows who Rich Bailey is because he's here a long time. So, girls, what are we doing here? We got lots of tears. What's on the go? Tell me what's going on.
One of our sponsors this year was diagnosed with breast cancer, so this row was dedicated to her.
That's awesome, and I'm sure she appreciates that very much. How long you guys been together?
4 years.
First year for this team. So did you guys enjoy it?
Yes, we did. It was really fun.
So are you going to come back?
Yes, for sure.
For sure. So you guys play sports off ice?
Yes, a lot of us do cheerleading, soccer, things like that.
Awesome. So did we get a medal for the sponsor?
I'm not sure.
No, well, we're going to have to try and get one, and I'm sure she's watching you guys. All right, congratulations, girls. Great job, and enjoy your day. Now I'm going to put it back to Amanda. Oh, okay, actually, we're going to take a break at this point.
All right. of the last race, the last female midget race of the day, the Mary Brown's Avalon Mall, a great row by the midget girls. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Leah. I'm Jane. I'm Ollie. I'm Rachel. I'm Olivia. I'm Emily.
Melissa.
Clyde.
Melissa Snow, we've heard your name a lot today. You've been a busy lady. So I said, who wants to talk? And they all do. So how was it out there, girls?
It was so good. I mean, it was a really good pond, and I think we all did our best, so I'm really proud of us.
Do you know what your time was?
6:25.
And how does that stack up to your times earlier in the season?
That was our best time so far this year, yeah.
Best time ever?
Yeah.
You've got some big smiles from your coaches and Coxon down there. How do you feel about it?
I'm really happy that we got gold this year, and we did our best time that we've ever done, and I'm proud of us.
That's awesome. So how many years have you guys been together as a crew?
As a crew, this is our second year together. Last year we came third overall in Regatta in our race.
Okay, so do you think you'll be back next year?
Oh, for sure we will, yeah.
That's great, and it looks like I'm just going to dodge over here because we have Clyde Tucker, a veteran here at Kitty Vitty Lake, and Melissa Snow. You've been so busy today. How are you coping with it?
As you can tell, my voice is gone.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Could the girls hear you?
Oh yes, I find it deep down inside to find something. Yeah.
You've been training all year for this?
Yes, we have been, yes. Yeah.
Excellent. And Clyde, tell us about your involvement with the crew.
Oh, well, they asked me to join them, so I said, sure. I said, I'll coach them. And what a great bunch of girls. I mean, they're die-hard. God love them. I'm so proud of them.
So proud of them. I think a lot of people are proud of these girls. And what about is your age range? What's the average range of the girls on the crew?
14 and 15 years old.
14, 15 years old. This is an excellent accomplishment. Your best race. Congratulations, you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is the winners of the female midget race number 3, Mary Brown's Avalon Mall. And we're going to throw back to Diana.
All right, so we're going to get set up now for race number 22. We're winding down here this evening now. We have the last few races up. We're just going to get it put up on the screen there now. So the crews are just pulling to the top of the pond. All right, so race number 22, stake 1. The NTV network is Cox and Maria Roach, stroke Greta Colford. Number 5 is Georgia Ryan. Number 4 is Lily Byrne. Number 3, Ella Duffett. Connie Duffett is her mom. Number 2 is Claire Murphy. And number 1 is Abigail Bridger. The spear is Emma Pittman. So we're going to stake number 2 is the Marine Institute. We have Coxon Janine Hewitt, stroke Delaney Drover. Number 5 is Lacey Baker. So her brother Mitchell Baker is a goalie with with the A hockey. So the Bakers are down supporting her. Number 4 is Carly Marsh. Number 3 is Elizabeth Morey. Number 2 is Sarah McQueen. Number 1, Olivia Weatherton. And their spear is Madeline Connell. Stake number 3 is the Catherine M. Their coxswain is Darryl Price. Stroke is Sydney Jane Whitty. Number 5 is Eve Martin. Number 4 is Emma Griffin. Number 3, we have Sarah Johns. Number 2 is Brooke Henderson. Number 1 is Caitlin Baker. And the spear for that group is Morgan Wade. Stake number 4 in the Telegram, we have Coxon Colleen Bolger. Stroke is Heather Bolger. I'm sure they're related. Number 5 is Chloe Kim. Number 5 is Jenna Butler. Number 3 is Brooklyn Reese. Number 2 is Jordan Neary Peddle. Number 1 is Sarah Han, and their spear is Brooklyn Bishop Wade. And I think that might be stake number 5 is the Ranger with Coxon Iris Bussey, stroke Alexis Abbott. Number 5 is Sky Evans. Number 4 is Emily Edmonds. Number 3 is Rebecca Healy. Number 2 is Kathy Manning. Number 1 is Kate Turpin. And the spears for that boat are Megan Skinner and Stacy Lynn Kenny. So I have Amanda back with me now. And Amanda, we're at race number 22. And they're just lined up at the top of the pond there.
So as we said earlier, the Squirt races only go halfway. So that's why the times are in the 2/3 minute range. So they won't be doing a turn of the boys like the senior crews. They're just going to be going one way because this is the Squirt category just to get the kids introduced to rowing and very exciting.
So we just gave out the medals to the Mary Browns girls. They seem pretty excited.
Definitely. The Mary Browns Avalon Mall said they'd be back next year for sure, and their coxswain Melissa Snow and coach Clyde Tucker had so many good things to say about them. So seems like a well-oiled machine, the Mary Browns Avalon Mall team. I did want to mention before we tee up the first squirt races, the records, which are kept for the squirt category. The female squirt record was set in 2016. I remember because I was on air with Rogers and I was like, is that a new squirt record? Anyway, it's 2:37.60, and that was set by FW Connolly Electrical in 2016. So you can see the squirt girls here with their life jackets, ready for anything. And the male squirt record is 2:26.9, and that was set by the Green Sleeves / Men's Den, also in 2016. So 2016 was a big year for squirts.
Awesome. So we'll see now. Do we have not only winners today, but we'll also see who the records, if we have any records following here today. So
Exactly.
So I hope we get to interview the squirts. That should be interesting.
It's always funny. Yeah. So the key challenge, I mean, that we talk about in rowing is, especially in these squirt categories, these kids are often so light that they don't weigh the boats down in the same way that senior men and women do. So the boats are quite high out of the water, and it's quite a challenge for these smaller humans to keep their blades buried. And so what we mean by blades buried is the white part of the oar that you can see there in the screen. We want that to be underwater for the time they put the oar in to the time they take it out. It should be fully submerged. So we should not see like the white tips coming up, and that can be quite a struggle for the squirt crews. So a lot of crews deal with this by having a very high stroke rate. So I expect some of the highest stroke rates we've seen today will be in the squirt races.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, the point too also by keeping the oars down, for these girls and guys in the squirt races, they are so light. The boats are going to be quite tippy for them. That's going to be another challenge for them. But listen, they're out there and they're trying it, so which is really exciting because it's good to have so many squirt races. We have 4 races, males and females. It's good to see so many kids trying out the sport.
Because by the time you bat your eyelashes, they'll be, 19, 20, and in the intermediate categories. So that won't take long at all, as these kids are between ages of 10 and 12, 13, I believe.
Yeah,
'cause
12
I know
probably.
The average age of the midget girls is in the 13, 14 range. So this is even younger. Our most babiest participants, I won't call them babies because they're not. They're just our youngest category. They are our squirts.
But pretty exciting for them. Like, we have 4 of these races now. We're ending off the regular schedule of the races for the day before we take a supper break and head into the men's and women's championship races. There's a really big crowd down here at the pond, and what's really good about these young girls and guys is they have tons of family support. And again, like all of these, if you take the conversations that we've had with the winners today, the interviews we've had with the winners, all of these folks play a lot of different sports. So it's just great for them to see them to take this time to come down, because unlike other sports, for anyone that's participating in the regatta, this is the only training venue, so everybody has to come here and share that. So that's a challenge in itself to juggle that with everything else.
That's for sure.
So you might find, again, as Amanda mentioned, these folks are a little bit lighter. It might be a little bit more of a challenge for them to line up at the top of the pond.
Yep, challenging to line up, challenging to keep the boats, as if it's not difficult enough already to keep the boat balanced,
Yeah.
but it's even an added challenge for these guys due to their light body weight. And so they really have to focus on pulling, we would say pulling in high, so definitely trying to pull in up around your shoulder / armpit area to try and get that blade to stay in the water. And of course, that's why one of the reasons we advocate for the adjustable washers, so that crews can adjust the height accordingly. But even when the adjustable washers have been moved to their maximum height, these squirt crews still have challenges keeping the blades buried. So I'm sure they'll do fine though. Looks like they're ready to go. Of course, the mandatory rule for the squirt category is everyone has to wear a life jacket, a personal flotation device.
And the good thing right now, Amanda, which is you don't normally see, the water has been pretty consistently good the whole day. It seems almost like it's gone down a little bit more there. So that is that's a challenge that they don't have to face. They're not facing a big lap on the pond. So it should be fairly easy for them to get their oars back and forth over the water.
I mean, we've said this a couple times today, but it has been a dream day for the conditions. Absolute dream. I was just talking to Dean Hammond, coxswain of the NTV men's crew. He's talking about what they're thinking for, what all the men's crews are thinking for the championship, and they're happy to report the winds are forecasted to stay low. Because I think they might know, a weatherman on that NTV team.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they have a bit of an edge there.
Yeah, they got a bit of an advantage in predicting the weather there, but or we think they do.
Yeah.
So anyway, the winds are going to be low tonight is the key message for, they're holding the shell and stake draw at 4:30 p.m. So I don't know if it's past that now. But
No, exactly 4:30 now.
yeah, so right now upstairs of the boathouse, you have the top 10 crews of the day. So top 5 men, top 5 women's crews. The coxswain or a representative from their crew shows up. They select which boat they would like to use in the championship race, and they select their stake. And it's selected based on the order of your finish time. So the fastest crew gets their top pick of boat and stake, and the 5th place crew kind of just takes what's left from the boat availability and stake availability. So I believe tonight with a southwest wind, it'll be blowing either straight up the pond or it will be blowing from number 1 to number 5.
Yep.
So I would say that the crews tonight will base their lane selection on the wind forecast, but or they may not, because it's such a low wind, they may not have to strategize too much there, depending on if they have a boat they really like or whatever it's going to take to get their key preference satisfied.
So it's a little bit longer now trying to get these guys set up, but we have lots of time and we do have a supper break coming up. Looks like we have the 4th crew just about getting into place there.
And these crews, I mean, you might think from home that these boats all look the same, but crews get their preferences and everybody likes a particular boat, or we had our best row in this boat, or we rode our best time in this boat. So crews definitely have a preference when it comes to selecting boats.
So I think the 4th crew there is just sort of getting in for their stake on stake 5, it looks like.
Yep, so stake 5 is closest to us here at the boathouse, and stake 1 closest to the marquee on the other side. Oh, we've got one crew still heading up to the head of the pond.
4 of the 5 are up there right now.
Perfect.
So the crew on stake 3, it appears, are heading to the top of the pond there now.
So this is, like we mentioned earlier, Universal Corporate Wear has a couple crews down here today. So this is one of their, at least their 2nd row, Universal Corporate Wear. And again, Lynn Hindy and her company, Universal Corporate Wear, is a great sponsor of the regatta, great advocate of the regatta. They actually got t-shirts made up this year of, the big goose that's around the pond that squawks at everyone.
Yeah.
Almost everyone who's walked Kitty Vitty knows the goose that I'm talking about. Anyway, the rowers endearingly call this goose Mike or Frank or anyway, she got shirts done up with the goose and the goose's name on them, so it's pretty cute. I mean, it's a real things like that every crew can share in are really nice, and they really bring community together down here at the boathouse. So kudos to Lynn for getting those shirts done up, and if I see one, I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, totally. And I actually saw earlier, I believe she was able to give one of them to the Prime Minister.
Oh!
Yeah, I think I saw it on social media on the lunch break. Yeah, so good on Lynn. Anyway, she's certainly taking advantage of it, so that's good for her.
Well, while he was getting Mike the Goose, freebie t-shirts, I was kind of just peering at his motorcade going down Forest Road when I was on my lunch break. It was at least a dozen cars long, led by an accompanied escort by the RNC with the sirens going. And then there were 3 or 4 black big SUVs in the middle. I guess he was in one of them.
Yep.
I can't imagine it was anything else besides Justin Trudeau.
With his goose shirt.
With the goose shirt that he definitely was wearing.
So we got this crew now. They're just trying to get in there and line up. So it takes a lot of patience and organization for the coxswains in these boats to get these younger kids focused and get them straightened away up here at the top of the pond. You have to be very careful. Like you said, you're dealing with water and oars and boats. You don't want anybody getting hurt. You want to make sure that they're comfortable and that they're going to be able to do what they want to do and just roll the race. So
we have the first squirt race starting 4:40, second one at 5. third one 5:20, and then the fourth squirt race is starting at 5:40 p.m. and that will be the last race on the regularly scheduled schedule before we break for the championship races at 6:30 p.m. and 7.
You'd almost think they had a strategy going here, waiting for the pond to go down.
Those squirts know what they're
Those
doing.
squirts are like the senior crews. You watch the senior crews when it comes to the championship, how they're going to meander and take their time getting to the top of the pond to keep hoping that it's going to settle down. That's probably what these guys are doing.
It looks like the last crew to line up is on stake 3 there, so as they take their positions, that is matrix construction there, getting lined up on stake 3 or about to get lined up on stake 3. So like we said earlier, the device that the coxswains are holding onto that keep them attached to the buoy for this time being are called a toggle. So that's a toggle they have in their hand. And sometimes if the coxswain asks for a touch from 1 and 2 and they pull too hard, the coxswain can get their shoulder yanked off. As if they drop the toggle at this time and they have to line up all over again, it can be a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
So the lesson for 1 and 2, and I can say this because I'm 1, is that you have to touch lightly, and this is the only time in your rowing career where you're allowed to row as lightly as you can.
Exactly.
Because all the rest of the time you got to try and put as much as you can into it.
I remember years ago being down here, and Frank Wright had a hold of the toggle one time, and whoever the crew was that he was steering, number 1 hauled a little bit too hard, and Frank came right out of the boat.
Well, it can happen.
It can happen. It can happen. Yeah.
He wasn't letting go of that toggle.
No,
At least you
that's
knew
right.
that.
Yeah, because that is a challenge in itself to get lined up there and to get your crew. As you can see, the 2 crews top of the camera here now, they're trying to straighten up. Like I said, luckily the winds are cooperating, so it's not too bad. But it is a challenge, especially if we have a bit of wind and it's not going in your favor, to try and keep your boat lined up, because the coxswain actually should have a landmark down the pond in his sights, which will correspond with the buoy that he's trying to go to in the middle of the pond.
Yeah, and of course we heard earlier that it wasn't in a race, but after one of the races when the boats were kind of making their way back to the dock, or actually when they were in that kind of holding pattern in between the finished kegs and the shore, some of the crews actually knocked oars, and we know that's something that's discouraged by rowers and the staff here at the boathouse and the committee, because we all like to keep our boats in good shape so they can be used for years to come. So we're just teeing up race number 22 of the day, frontline action, Squirt female number 1, the 4:40 p.m. race. I think we've just about got all 5 Squirt crews touching here and just about ready to row. All right, so just like in the adult races, they will have a starter who says, are you ready number 1, are you ready number 2, and so on until the are you ready number 5. If there's a problem, the coxswain raises their hand. As you can see there, number 4 has his or her hand up to indicate there's something not quite ready there.
No, and number 3 as well. You can see there's Santra back there. He's having trouble, I think, getting the toggle over the boat there.
Because sometimes what happens is the toggle, the rope gets caught up in the rudder of the boat underneath. And so to free the rope of the rudder, the coxswain has to turn around, reach their arms underneath the boat, feel around for the rope and the toggle, free it up so that it can be an unrestricted pull out from the buoys. So of course you want to maximize your distance away from the buoys to get you started. You don't want to be leaving an inch behind if that's what it means to have the toggle straight.
Looks like the regatta committee is over there in the safety boat now, trying to give them some assistance.
And the safety boats will definitely be following these squirt races closely. Yeah, definitely something snaggled up there underneath. Oh, I think the sun just went behind the clouds. Thank goodness, because it was beating down on me pretty good there.
It's warm here for sure. Yeah.
This is a beautiful area we're standing in, the new winner's circle. It's beautiful artwork. I'm not sure who the artists were, but wow, it is absolutely stunning here.
All right, so it looks like they're pulling out a little further there now. Looks like we're all ready to go.
So this position that the squirts are sitting in now, we would call this the catch position. So they have their oars ready to go, take their first stroke, and bring them through the water. So right away, as we predicted, very high stroke rate for the squirts.
So it's a couple of minutes of rowing. Someone got a horn going. That's awesome. These squirts have so much family support down here.
They really do. This family support starts from a young age. These times range from 2:58 to 3:11 in time trials. So those are the personal best times for these squirt crews to beat.
So our Universal Corporate, we are on stake number 1. They had the fastest time, but these times were all pretty close, so this is going to be a really good race.
Oh,
As
I
you
have
can-
no doubt.
You can see out there now, it looks like though the crew on stake 1 are ahead right now. 47 seconds, so we did say, Amanda, what was the record for this one?
The female squirt record is 2:37.6. So keep your eyes on our unofficial clock, and we'll see, because with these conditions, anything can happen.
So they're going by the marquee there now, but what a close race
It is
for
a very close
seconds
race.
right there now.
It looks like stake 1 is ahead.
Yep.
And stake 4 is in second, but it is very, very close.
It is very close. It's exciting. Stake 4 is the St. John's International Airport. So we're 120. So in order for them to break a record now, we're about 30 or 40 seconds out.
And the sights and sounds of modern day regattas, we just heard the drone buzz by us. So 10 or even 15, 10 years ago, that's not a sound you would have heard,
No.
but I think the drones are here to stay. There will be drone coverage at every regatta from now on, because as you can see from the shot on your screen right now, it's absolutely beautiful. Gives very good perspective for the rowers from a technical perspective, as well as coaches, coxswains, and for the athletes themselves.
So it looks like team on stake 4, if we're looking at it from the right angle, they're after pulling out there. Does that look to you, Amanda?
Is this 1?
No, this is 5, I believe.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to tell with the drone.
Yeah, because if the...
No, that is stake 5. 1 is over under the bank there, see?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's close for first, it's close for second, and then...
So they're at 2:24 there now.
Yep, so that record of 2:37, I think it will probably stand for another year.
All right, so they're probably 10, 15, 20 seconds out maybe.
But they still can improve on their personal time from their time trials races.
So we got a bit of an odd angle there now, so it's kind of hard to tell who's going to be finishing first there.
And you know what? It's not about breaking records for every crew. Sometimes it's about getting out there and doing it and putting in your best effort, and that's what you're here for, and that's what these guys are doing, girls are doing right now. So you can see there the horn goes off to indicate the finish. It looked like that was stake 4 that came across, or maybe over on stake 1 they were finished a bit ahead of them.
Yeah.
And then 2 and 3, and followed by stake 5 coming in here now. That's the Evans New Leaf on stake 5.
Excellent. So now we have our next squirt race.
The next squirt race, unofficial time of 2:55 for the winners, I believe, of that race. So great row by these young athletes, these developing rowers. Great to see them out there. All right, so as the next squirts queue up, we are going to take a short break and get right back to you after this.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
the president of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee, Chris Neary. He's an important and a very busy man today. Very privileged and excited to talk to him. Chris, how's your day going?
It's going great. You know, obviously the weather's been very cooperative. The pond has pretty much been flat calm all day. Huge crowds around Kiddivity Lake. I think everyone's having a great day.
Great day, and not just your typical regatta. We had the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, here earlier. How is that compared to a typical regatta?
The logistics of that, obviously, there's a lot of work behind it. There was a lot of planning behind the scenes. You know, security details, making sure we knew exactly where he was going and coming. But you know, we couldn't take into account for the number of people that would be around him. He was a very busy man while he was here, so we did our best to keep him on schedule. You know, we went up and started a race, saw a bunch of people, greeted the winning team, presented medals. I think he had a great time.
He certainly looked like he was enjoying himself, so that was pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I know. You know, it's an honor to be president of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee and to have the Prime Minister visit while you're in the president role. It's pretty exciting.
Definitely, and putting the logistics together and planning is the name of the game for you guys. I know you're at this all year round, so tell us a bit about what goes on in the background that we don't see as regatta participants.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people just assume you see all the vendors come down around Regatta Day. There's a ground spacing committee, there's a program committee, there's a fundraising committee, there's you know, you name it, we have to organize it and plan it. So everything that you see happening around here today takes months and months of time and effort by our volunteers, and it's unbelievable the history behind the event. All the things have been done before, so you've sort of perfected the day, but there's always stuff that comes up, a lot of work, and the amount of time these people, these volunteers are putting into Regatta Day to make sure everyone comes down and has a great day. I couldn't be more proud of them, and I couldn't be more happy with the great way it turned out here as well.
And you make us proud, you and the committee. This is such a great day, a great event. People are saying it's the best weather day for regatta in years, and that certainly seems to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, you know, cool conditions, what the rowers want, and low winds, and you know, the folks coming around aren't getting too much the heat as it was last year. As we know, it was quite hot. So ideal conditions. Very happy with the way things turned out, and we're going to finish strong here with a few more races and then finish off with some great championship races.
And it's supposed to stay, the winds are supposed to stay down for the remainder of the championship races. I chatted with Bradley Power first thing this morning, and I asked him one question, and I'll ask you the same. After coming off the 200th regatta, the Royal St. John's Regatta, we're here at the 200 first. How do you top that? Last year was epic. Like, how do you top that? And here we are.
You know, yeah, and obviously the thing is you don't try to top it, you just move forward and try to make the next event year the best event you can. And you know, you look at the people around here and the great work we've done around the boathouse with the Winner's Circle and the North Bank and the wharf. That's just the start of great things for the Regatta Committee and the Kiddivity Lake, and we look forward to seeing how it's going to go in the future.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks so much to you and your committee for all your hard work and all the volunteers. Of course, we are going to tune in for the second squirt race of the day.
This is a squirt female number 2. So I'm just going to give you the times here. So stake number 1, we have Outer Cove Tech and Industrial Services, I believe it is. Coxswain is Mark Carroll. Stroke is Caroline Norris, Isabel White, Sarah Power, Katie Power, Gracie Marr, and Brianna Carroll. Stake number 2 is RBC Rowing Raptors. And the coxswain is Kelly Bust. Stroke is Anna Clary Noseworthy, Sienna Cody, Jewel Verbisky, Bridget Dunn, Ariel Waterhouse, and Eva Kerr. Stake 3 is
that's Aoife.
Sorry. Thank you, Amanda. Stake number 3 is Martin Surveys, and it's Melissa Organ is the coxswain with Haley Edwards, Hoddy Martin, Brooklyn O'Neill, Emma Strong, Anna Hawkins, and Lily Parsons. On stake 4 is Kelly Crew with Yvonne Knight is the coxswain. Joan Farrell, Sarah Grushi, Maggie Jordan, Emma M. Noseworthy, Emma E. Noseworthy, Collie Vaders, Claire Emberley. And on stake number 5 is Coastal Accounting. Paul Ring is back on the pond again, guys. Caitlin Drover, Annabelle Earl, Haley Martin, Sadie Manor, Megan Dunphy, Ilana Ruiz, I believe, and Elsie Blackwood.
It'll take you the whole race to get all the names out.
That was
well done, Diana.
But it's very important. We have to mention all of them because they are down here and they are competing. And wow, this is a close race.
Yep. And again, the record 2:37. And I want to give special shout out, special mention to some of these sponsors we've seen multiple times already today. Martin Surveys had a crew earlier. Also, RBC had another crew in an earlier race. So, you know, very generous of these sponsors to be sponsoring the next generation of rowers and some senior crews as well. So thanks to the sponsors for supporting these young athletes. And as we have wrapped up the first two midget or the squirt female squirt races of the day, we're going to move on to the third female squirt race of the day. Oh, it's called Denny's Squirt female number 3. I thought it said Danny's Squirt, but it's Denny's Squirt, the third female squirt race of the day. So on stake number 1, we have Universal Corporate Wear, again, quite the sponsor. Rowing in the Marine Institute, coxed by Brian Cook, stroke Allison Duffett, which I know is the sister of Ella Duffett and daughter of Connie Duffett, who we talked about, who we'll be seeing in the steers boat in the women's championship race tonight. Number 5, Kira Bennett. Number 4, Jenna Mitchell, Emma Cook, Ireland Winters, and Sarah McCarthy. On stake number 3, In the Miss India 2 is the cabinet maker, the coxswain Kelly Boyce, coxswain, stroke Maria Lockyer. The rest of the crew there is Lily Slaney Howell, Ava Peddle, Maddie Dwyer, Chan Field, and Chloe Rogers. Then on stake 5, we have the Frontier Subsea. They'll be rowing in the boat The Ranger with coxswain, veteran coxswain, I might add, Haley Ivany, who's rowed her way to both a men's and women's championship, and her crew. Claire Colford is the stroke, Jane Kirby, Catherine Colford, Fallon Bittiscombe, Kate Pittman, Violet Avery, Megan Skinner, Claire Avery, and Rhonda Pittman. So their times in time trials range from 4:29 for Universal Corporate Wear to 5:59 for Frontier Subsea. So we'll see how much these young athletes can shave off their time trials time in their squirt race here today. A couple points about the individuals in that race. Haley Ivany is, like I said, I think the only coxswain to hold in the same year a championship in both the men's and the women's race. And she was definitely one of the youngest. So I don't know which kind of dimension she could be nominated for the Hall of Fame for that. But there's definitely something there. Haley Ivany, a veteran coxswain for sure.
Absolutely. No, that is awesome to hear. I left the men alone because I was over trying to bargain for a goose shirt for 2 of us.
Well, Universal Corporate Wear has another crew.
All right,
in this race that we just
we're giving them a lot of free press here now. So we're actually still on race 22, awarding the medals, and I'm actually going to talk to Universal Corporate Wear now when they get their medals from race 22.
Race 22, the Frontline Action Squirt Female 1, first place, rowing at stake 1.
So we have the official times.
The
Universal Corporate Wear rowed 2:55. And they're just collecting their medals behind us. And Diana is hopefully going to speak to those young girls
Claire Murphy,
just in one moment.
Emma Pittman, and Coach Susan Byrne.
So very cool to watch these girls get their medals. Connie Duffett, Abigail Bridger, Ella Duffett and Abigail Bridger, their moms will be rowing in seats 1 and 3, just as they did in this squirt race. So I know there's a bit of a role model going down as they watch their moms practice every night, and now they have rowing regatta medals of their own. So really nice to see. And now, of course, Connie's other daughter, Ella's sister, Allison is stroking Universal Corporate Wear crew number 2 in the 5:20 p.m. race number 24, the female squirt race number 3, sponsored by Denny's. So it's Denny's squirt race, and they're just getting lined up there now. So as we said, the weather is holding off. Things are great here at Kitty Vitty Lake. We are pondside. There's huge crowds, and the crowds tend to grow as we get to the main event of the day, which is the championship race. The women's championship race is at 6:30 p.m. and the men's championship race is at 7 p.m. We've completed the draw for the boats and the stakes. That is completed, so the men's and women's crews that will be rowing in those championship races, they know which boat they're going to row in, they know which lane they're going to be in. So right now, they've just got to go out there and execute. And that is what we'll be tuning in for, not just yet because we're still on the squirts, but yeah, in about an hour and a half or maybe an hour and 50 minutes or so, we'll be getting started with the championship races.
Congratulations, ladies. Well done.
And we've just been handed some official times, and I'm going to let people know that. So we have Outer Cove Tacton Industrial Services, Cox by Mark Carroll, rowed at a time of 3:02.86. In second place was Martin Surveys, Cox by Melissa Organ, time of 3:07.52. Third place, RBC Rowing Raptors, coxed by Kelly Buist.
All right.
Buist,
so I'm here with Universal Corporate Wear. They're really excited.
10.6. Fourth place, Coastal Accounting, coxswain Paul Ring. Their time was 3:22.51. And in fifth place was Kelly Crew, 3:23. And now Diana is going to talk to some winners and hopefully get us a goose shirt. Diana.
All right, so I'm back again. Okay, so I'm here with a group of girls. They don't want to talk to me. They're doing a lot of talking amongst themselves, but I'm going to get them to introduce themselves. This is a Universal Corporate Wear team, and they just won the Squirt Female 1 Frontline Action Race. So girls, introduce yourselves.
Emma Pittman, Abby Bridger, Claire Murphy, Ella Duffett, Lily Byrne, Georgia Ryan, Greta Colford, Maria Roach.
And you're the coxswain, correct?
And Lynn Hindi, Universal Corporate Wear.
And Lynn is the sponsor. So, congratulations, girls. And I'm hearing like a theme here. We got a Bridger and we got a Duffett. So, you guys got your mom's rowing in the championship race together. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I guess there's a lot of rowing talk around your kitchen table, is there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, tell me what got you into rowing?
My mom, basically. She just does a lot of it. And that made me want to do it, I guess.
And your brother as well?
He used to do it. Okay.
And you were down here yesterday and you cut the ribbon for the opening of this. How was that?
Oh, it was really fun. Great time.
Yeah. So I heard a great story from your grandmother, who's a lovely lady, great runner, and she was all talk about, was it your grandfather with the medal?
Yes, it was.
So just give a little bit about that.
So he won it a while ago, and it was like a gold medal, and every race we wear it just to commemorate him and to hopefully give us good luck.
So did you wear it this race?
Unfortunately, I did not get it because my mother was late coming.
You know what? She needs it. You didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
So congratulations, girls. Awesome job. And have fun the rest of the evening. And you better cheer your moms on. All right. Thanks very much. I'm going to put it back now to Amanda.
That is awesome. Thanks so much, Diana, for talking to the winners of the Squirt Race Universal Corporate Wear. Hopefully she scored us a duck or a goose t-shirt. And now Diana is back with me as we're about a minute in to race number 24, Denny's Squirt Female number 3.
Awesome. So we're trying to include the Squirts here, having a chat with them today. All the Squirt teams are getting medals, which is great. But we still are talking to those that are finished first place. So Universal Corporate Wear, pretty excited. And as Amanda said that time, two of the girls in that boat have their moms rowing in the championship race. And that's Rhonda Bridger and Connie Duffett. So their girls just won that race. And I asked Connie's daughter, actually, because they have the lucky medal from the grandfather that they were after finding, and apparently they rowed for good luck during the races, but she wasn't after get it. She never got it for her race. But I said, that's okay. You didn't need it, obviously. So her mom has that now, and she's getting ready for the championship race.
Well, I remember, I think it was around Regatta Week last year when the medal, that lucky medal, had been misplaced temporarily, and they put a call out on Facebook, and it was a mad panic, and they found it. So that's just the beauty of social media. Sometimes it works to our favor, and we can get things back, like our prized possessions.
Perfect. So here we are now in race number 24. So this is the Squirt Female.
Yeah, we can see on the crews closest to us there in the blue visors, that's the Ranger in Stake 5, Frontier Subsea. So Stake 5 and Stake 3 look pretty much neck and neck, but Stake 1, Universal Corporate Wear, again, seems to have the lead. So that's pretty exciting. Big day for Universal Corporate Wear and Lynn Hindi and her team there. And of course, Lynn was there, I think, when you
yes,
just
she
spoke
was.
with
Yeah,
Lynn.
Lynn has been, I mean, it's one thing, Lynn is sponsoring these crews, but she's been here the whole day supporting them. And she's come into the winner's circle, and she's such an important part of why these crews have so much success. Because, of course, all of these crews that are participating in the regatta, they have to pay a registration, and they need uniforms and shirts and so forth. So they're really fortunate to have such a dedicated and strong sponsor. I know how important that is, my years in rowing and rowing. We were really fortunate to have Key and Tech, so I do know sponsorship is a crucial part of the regatta for all these crews.
Second place rowing.
Definitely a huge part, and it's a bit of hooting and hollering going on around us now as all the friends and families of the Squirt rowers congratulate the participants in race number 23 as they collect their medals. So the winning team from race 23 was 3 minutes and 2 seconds, and as you can see, the third female Squirt race is past the 3.5 minute mark already. So they won't be down in the low threes, but they're having a great time out there. They're pulling their hardest and getting those big, heavy boats through the water. So great work out there to the Squirt rowers.
Raced in Stake 4, the Kelly crew come forward first for presentation of their medal. Please proceed to
Oh,
the winner's
it
circle.
looks like one of the squirt crews has stopped. So maybe they're just taking a breather there. Unless they're past the women's kegs and I can't see it in the picture, they must be done the race. And yeah, maybe they're just, we can't see it's harder to see the finish point of these races because, like we said, it's at the half course keg. So yes, they've passed them, right. So everybody has successfully passed the finish marker there.
Presenting the medals to the crew on behalf of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee are past President Gail Malone and Sharon Kosh-Drover.
So we have Gail Malone presenting an award behind me. It seems like an appropriate time to bring up our award that we got for breaking the record last year is the Gail Malone Presidential Award, and we were presented with these awards a couple months ago, and I'm wearing mine on a pendant around my neck, and Gail Malone, of course, was the first female president of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee, first female gunner, and now I think it's commonplace that women are shooting off the gun in the starting timer on a regular basis. But of course, Gail Malone was a trailblazer and a martyr for women in that respect, and we thank her for that. So to honor her legacy and continued commitment as a committee member for breaking the record last year, the M5 crew won or was honored with the Gail Malone Presidential Award. And I know we're looking at the squirt crews here, but maybe I'll show it on a camera sometime later because it's pretty nice. So we're just getting through the third and final female squirt race, and then I believe we have one boys squirt race at 5:40 p.m. and that's race number 25 before the regular schedule is complete.
All right, so we're still going through the medal presentation for race number 23. As soon as the winners come out now, we'll probably get men to have a chat with them. Oh. So we're wandering around. Sometimes the camera's on us and sometimes not. But we're trying to keep everybody in sight here.
That's live TV, folks.
Yeah. But anyway, we're here.
Okay, so can they show the Gail Malone Presidential Award? Can I show this to the camera?
Yeah.
So this is, we got the M5 crew got these awards. So we got these rings for winning we got the rings for winning the 200th regatta and the Gail Malone Presidential Award as Gail Malone presents the awards behind us.
Is Lynn Hindi in the area?
Lovely, really nice.
Yeah, so
we're doing a call for, okay. Now we're good. Back out. There we go. Perfect.
You think I'd remember after the whole day to hold the microphone up to my face, but
it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Lynn,
so Lynn is back.
Talk to us. Come talk to us.
Talk to us about
this.
We're talking about our goose
This
shirts.
is the moment of the hour.
We want to talk to you about the goose shirt. So tell us about how the goose shirt originated.
Well, my graphic designer,
All right, we're going to move forward
Carol
with the
Tower,
presentation of the medals to the fourth place
designed
crews,
this
the Coastal
logo because she
Accounting
heard about
rowing
all
in
the
State 5
ruckus with the
time of
goose. So she sat down one day and
3:22:51.
decided to come up with the
Cox and
logo,
Paul Ring,
and we've been
Stroke,
selling them like
Caitlin
crazy.
Rover,
How do we get our hands on one of these goose shirts?
You're taken care of.
Already.
All right. So am I right in seeing, did I see on social media that the Prime Minister got one?
Yes, he did. I presented him with one.
And what color did you give him?
It was two. I did one for his wife and one for him.
Lovely, lovely.
And then I had Dwight Ball up, and I was teaching him how to make them. So
awesome. So this is like the Universal Corporate Wear show today.
Oh my God, totally. And then my third team just won gold. I got 3 for 3. I'm so excited.
All right, we're going to let you go actually because they're giving us the regatta committee are looking for you now.
See, she's in demand. That's what happens when you
So
sponsor
it's on live TV. We were promised shirts. That's the big thing. That's why we tried to get her here.
It's a signed contract. Well, that's great. Lynn Hindi, a big supporter of not just the regatta, but she's very involved in the swimming community, providing the uniforms and outfits for, I think, the Marlins, the Legends. She's got that business, the sports business, on lockdown, and now the rowing.
The hockey, same thing.
Yep.
She's a huge supporter and provider for the hockey.
And it's not hard to tell why. I mean, she's such a pleasure to be around. Got great ideas like these goose shirts, Universal Corporate Wear. I've worked with them before on some really important projects, and they're great. If you need any sports attire, that's your place to go.
All right, so we're getting ready. We're going to nab the first place crew for race 23 in the Squirt Female 2.
And I think before we talk to them, we're going to go to a quick break. Are we going to a quick break?
Yes, we are.
Final race of the regular schedule, the Squirt Male race. On stake number 1 in the Stroke of Power, we have the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club, coxed by John Barrington Jr., Stroke, Jack Barrington, Luke Martin, David March, Brody Wright, Rowan Hart, and Ash Mitchellmore, and they'll be rowing in the Stroke of Power. On stake number 2, sponsor Boland and Associates, coxswain Gary Squires, Stroke Ethan Power, Andrew Squires, Leo Avery, Lucan Mead, probably maybe Lucas Mead, Theo Noseworthy, Aidan Boland Cashin, and Gavin Kearley, and manager Leslie Boland. On stake number 3, TD Bank, rowing in the Lamb's Palm Breeze. Patrick Barrington, who I'm pretty sure is the brother of John Barrington Jr. on stake 1. Stroke Owen Barrington, Noah Boland, Ryan Daw, Patty Gillespie, Daniel Kearley, Mark Pittman, and Gavin Barrington. So a couple of Barrington boys rowing in different boats these races. So interesting to see how that will turn out. Then on stake number 4, in the Smith Stockley 2, is this crew sponsored by Madsen, Cox and Darren Hyde, Stroke Simon Shanahan, Andrew Piercy, Brody Stephen, Ethan Walsh, Seth Hyde, Grant Clark, Luke Piercy, and then finally on stake 5, JMJ Holdings Limited, Daryl Price, Ryan Whitty, Ian Moyce, Luke Kavanaugh, Sam Goss, Ryan Johns, and Quinn Richardson on number 1. So those boys, 5 crews. I think we've got a bit of, if it's not brother rivalry, it's family or cousin rivalry going on here with a couple of Barringtons, a handful of Barringtons in the race, 2 of them on stake 1 with the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club as coxswain and stroke, and 2 more of them on stake 3, the TD Bank, Patrick Barrington, Owen Barrington there. So like we said, some names you're just going to see again and again in the program throughout the day, and Barrington is certainly one of them. John Barrington Sr., key member of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee, successful coxswain of the NTV men at one point, and heavily involved with the Rules Committee. So we thank him certainly for all the work that he puts into the regatta, not only this year, but prior to the 201st as well, because he's participated in a good many regattas over the years. So we're seeing here the Midget, or the Squirt boys lining up. They should be about to start any moment. And behind us, Gail Malone is presenting the female squirts with their medals. So lots going on here. You got to keep your head up at the regatta because there's lots going on.
Well done, ladies.
So I think that they may be the smallest rowers, but they have the biggest fan club based on the numbers of cheers and hooting and hollering that's going on right here. So we have the last race of the day off to a start here. My goodness, I can hardly hear myself. As the winning Squirt team is getting lots of cheers.
Sarah Power, Katie Power, Tracy Marr, Brianna Carroll, Laura Edwards, Olivia Carroll.
So we're about 30 seconds into the last race. Outer Cove getting lots of cheers. Those girls have a community behind them.
Are His Worship the Mayor Danny Breen and Captain of the Course Bradley Power.
So a very close squirt race here.
Is the niece of His Worship the Mayor, and Katie Power is the
over
niece
on stake
of
1.
Bradley Power. So congratulations to the Outer Cove crew.
That looks to me like John Barrington Jr. on stake number 1, rowing in the stroke of power. So they look to have a slight lead to me at this point. They're in the blue t-shirts there, the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club, and in the screen there now, over on stake 1. And then it's very close for 2nd and 3rd place. Maybe the stake 3 has a slight edge. That's Bolin and Associates, and then TD Bank. And then on stake 4, I think they're in 4th place. That's Madsen. And then stake 5 in the 5th place at this moment is JMJ Holdings Limited.
So we're going to talk to all those girls from Outer Cove in a minute. We can get Amanda, we'll get her over in the other camera. Well, we're concluding now our final race for today of the regular race schedule, which is race number 25. And this is our Squirt male race. So this is our last race for the day, but we're still got a lot of Squirt rowers that we're going to talk to. They got lots of support here, as you can tell. So we got to acknowledge their hard work. So now we're going to get ready to go throw it over to Amanda to have a conversation with them. We're going to bring them down. So that's Mayor Danny Breen presenting the trophy, which is nice. So we talked about earlier, I believe that's his niece that's rowing. So that's wonderful. So we're at 2:41 in the squirt race here right now, actually. And it's an unofficial time. So we're almost concluded this race for today, as we said. So we got still two squirt groups. So the race is there finished. We still got one crew there pulling in, as you can see. And then we're going to break for supper now shortly, but we have to get the presentation into all these groups first. So Amanda's going to take all those rowers down. So we're just getting ready to set up an interview now. We said we got a strong following here from Outer Cove, so they're supporting and they're screaming for their loved ones, so that's great. So we're just going to have a quick interview here now. Amanda's trying to gather them all in. We're going to set up now 1 second as soon as she gets everybody in. So we're going to take an opportunity now to talk to everybody. They took the trophy with them. They're not giving it up. All right, so I'm going to throw it to Amanda now. Who's going to talk to the girls from Outer Cove.
All right, I think these girls have a few fans down here based on the number of cheers that were going on while they got their medals presented by none other than Mayor Danny Breen. I'm with the Outer Cove Tacton Industrial Services. I'm going to ask you girls and coaches Coxsons to introduce yourselves.
I'm Sarah Power. Izzy White.
Carly Norris.
Mark Carroll.
And on this side?
Katie Power.
Gracie Marr.
Brianna Carroll.
Shannon Power.
Craig Power.
Okay, so there's a few powers in the boat.
Before we proceed,
how was it out there?
It was pretty good. It was stressful, but we did it.
What was most stressful about it?
Their birthday today?
Mark.
Because he was yelling at you?
Yep.
So a little birdie told me that one of you girls is Isabella White, and you are is it niece of Anne-Marie Tobin?
Yeah.
So, of course, I have to give that a special mention because Anne-Marie Tobin is just a legendary rower down here. She rowed in stroke seat of the Keontech crew for a number of years. So, did you know that?
No, I did not.
Awesome. So, is this your guys' first year of rowing?
Yes, it is.
And do you think you'll be back? Of course. Okay, I'm going to turn to this side. And what did you like about the race?
It was hard, but it was good.
What was hardest about it?
I don't know. Just like trying to get to the end without thinking about anything else.
It's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what did you think?
Well, it was kind of hard because you had to like zone everything out, but it was good to know that we won.
And could you hear the other coxswains to the right and left of you kind of yelling at their crew, and you had to keep focused on yours?
Yeah.
Did he speak real loud?
Yeah.
Did you hear him okay?
Yeah.
So who sits in number 1? Brianna. So could you hear him all the way back in number 1? Because that's where I sit, and sometimes I couldn't hear my coxswain.
Yeah.
Why do I get the impression that the coxswain's quite loud? So is there one coxswain, 2 coaches, or?
Coxswain, coach, and a manager.
Okay, so we have one coxswain, a coach, and a manager. And which one's which?
Mark is the coxswain, Shannon's the coach, and I'm the manager. Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys have had a great summer?
A great summer, yeah. Mark's put in a lot of work with the kids and Shannon, and they've done fantastic. Yeah, real fantastic. They all committed, and it shows today. Yeah.
It definitely does show today. Congratulations, girls. I understand that the Squirt category is also available in Placentia and Harbour Grace. Did you guys travel to any of those regattas?
No, we did not, because unfortunately these girls are busy and they play softball and soccer and a bunch of other sports.
There's a swimmer there too, isn't
Yeah, there's a swimmer there too. Yeah. So they're quite busy, so we could only row in the regattas in town.
Well, that's awesome, because the multi-sport athlete and the long-term development is all about having the multiple sports. So it's great that as coaches you guys are cooperative with that and encouraging them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we love them playing all kinds of sports, that's for sure.
Okay, well, does my heart so much good to see you girls down here working hard and having so much support around you. I hope to see you back again next year, and enjoy your win. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yay! And they're supporters. Of course, it's a team from Outer Cove, so there is probably a huge fan section supporting those Squirt Girls crew based on the number of cheers, because Outer Cove, as we know, is a very big rowing community.
Now we're going to move forward with the presentation of results for race number 24, which is the
And now behind us is starting the medal presentation of the female squirt race number 3. So in the squirt category, not only the first place team gets medals, in the squirt category, all crews get medals. So if there's 5 boats in the race, all 5 crews get a medal.
Rowing in stake 5 with a time of 4:05:23, Frontier Subsea.
I'll give you the next Universal Cup.
Third place rowing in stake 3 with a time of 4:10:69, the Cabinet Maker. Congratulations to all the crews. So we're going to start with the Cabinet Maker crew to do the medal presentation first. If that crew could come forward, please.
All right, so it's race number 24, and there was only 3 crews in that race, and we're just about to hand out the medals to those 3 squirt crews. This
the
is
Cabinet
our
Maker crew with coxswain Kelly Buse, stroke Maria
This is our second last presentation of the regular schedule for today. So we are, the winner of that race was Universal Corporate Wear. So we are going to talk to them for a couple of minutes shortly.
And Coach Evelyn Rogers. Congratulations to the
There is the Cabinet Maker. You can see him up there now, which is exciting. I just talked to Frontier Subsea, some sweet little girls over there, and they came second in their race, and they said that they're not going to be on TV, but they wanted to pass on that how hard it is on their legs coming down the pond to finish off the end of the race. And anyway, those girls were ecstatic. They were happy with their second place finish, and they can't wait to come back. You can see it written all over their faces. So we have one more medal presentation, and then Amanda's going to be speaking to that Universal Corporate Wear crew that came first in the Squirt Female 3 race. Right now you're looking at the Cabinet Maker, sponsor for that crew. So that's Kelly Buse. She's had a few crews here today. So it put in perspective, you can see how small some of these girls are. And that's what we talked about earlier, how it's so important that they keep that oar buried in the water, and also how the boat, how heavy the boat is, and how the boat is not stable in the water, and how difficult it is for these girls. So you look at the size of them, So it was quite the feat for them to get that boat in that boat and get it down the pond. So we're going to take a photo op here now, and then we're going to call on the Frontier Subsea team. And then the winners is the Universal Corporate Wear. All right.
Congratulations to the cabinet maker crew. Well done, ladies.
So they're all done their pictures now, so we're going to bring on the next
now
crew.
We're going to move forward to the presentation of the second place medals.
The sun is going down here a little bit this evening, but the crowds certainly haven't diminished. I would have to say it's probably a textbook day for weather-wise for the regatta. It certainly was warm earlier. It's just a beautiful temperature here now. So everybody is sort of gearing up and anticipating the championship races coming up, but we are going to have a supper break.
Megan Skinner with Coach Claire Avery and manager Rhonda Pittman.
So there we are.
Congratulations to the Frontier Subsea crew.
So on your camera there, you see the young girls.
The Regatta Committee is His Worship the Mayor Danny Breen.
So they're going to get their medals. They're quite excited. They're trying to get lined up there. So they should be very proud of themselves. Love their uniforms. So then our Universal Corporate Wear just about ready to come up and receive their gold medals for their win. And as we mentioned earlier, we have in that crew Allison Duffett. She actually stroked. And then as we mentioned earlier that her mom is going to be rowing in the championship race later on this evening. So some pretty happy girls there now this evening, as you can see.
Congratulations to Frontier.
So good job for them. So we're just getting a few photo ops here now. Once that happens, we'll have to get Lynn Hindy back with her Universal Corporate Wear crew.
All right, well done, ladies. Enjoy your evening.
And then, once that's all done, we're going to move on to the final squirt race for this evening.
And now for the presentation of the gold medal to the first place crew in the Denny Squirt female race number 3, the Universal Corporate Wear crew. With a time of 3:44.88. Come on forward, girls. This crew was coxed by Brian Cook with stroke Allison Duffett and other crew members Kara Bennett, Jenna Mitchell, Emma Cook, Ireland Winters, Sarah McCarthy, Nora Cook, Stella Bishop, and Coach Shannon Costello. Congratulations to the Universal Corporate Wear crew.
So very exciting for them.
And the gold medals and trophy are being presented by His Worship, the Mayor Danny Breen.
Your phone. So it's great. We had the mayor here presenting all those trophies. And of course, sponsor Lynn Hindy's back. And then we're going to get these folks to go over and have a conversation with Amanda Hancock when they're done. So Amanda's going to have a quick conversation with those folks. And there we had the presentation of the trophy. Very exciting. Lots of happy faces. And then we're going to move on to our final squirt race champions for the day, just to end it off. And then we're going to take a break before we head into the female and male championship races this evening. With the supper break now, it's going to give an opportunity for the wind to go down. The pond is going to flatten out a little bit more. So we're going to look at hopefully ideal conditions. So we're just going to get some pictures done here now. quite a big deal for these young girls. So there we go. So now we're going to get ready, and these young ladies now are going to go over and have a conversation with Amanda about their success today and how well they did. Awesome job. All right, so I'm going to take the time to throw this over. Take this time to throw it over to Amanda.
So when she counts us in, we'll be all ready. Did you have fun? Yeah. Is this your first year?
Yeah.
Awesome. Any old time. Okay. So I'm here with the winners of the Denny's Squirt female race number 3. Lots of tiny little human rowers holding a great big trophy. So what I'm going to do is ask you guys to introduce yourselves. So I'll just hold the microphone in front of your face and tell me your name.
I'm Nora. I'm Kira.
I'm Allison.
I'm Sarah. I'm Ireland.
And I'm Emma.
And I know over there we have Universal Corporate Wear Lynn Hindi, and right here,
Shannon.
And Brian.
and you were the coxswain. So guys, how was it out there?
Fun.
It was fun?
I really enjoyed it.
What did you enjoy about it?
We won.
You certainly did win, and I've been talking about on the camera how Allison Duffett is going to watch her mom row in the championship race, and you just watched your sister row.
Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. It was really exciting watching my sister, and gonna be exciting watching my mom.
You did so great. You were out there in the stroke seat, and you've watched your mom row for years, and now you're doing it too. How does that feel?
It feels really exciting to be finally out and rowing.
Awesome. So how about you guys down here? Tell me about your race.
I had really fun. It was really fun.
Sounds like you guys had a lot of fun.
It was really fun getting a good experience of rowing.
And what are you going to do with this big trophy now?
Don't know.
Well, yeah, I think the Regatta Committee might want to hold on to the trophy, but the medals are yours to keep, and maybe you could get them engraved with your time and your team name. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, to talk to the coxswain, amazing. This is the future of the regatta. How was it for you this season with the girls?
Oh, it was great. We had a lot of fun getting out with the girls and getting them together and teaching them to row and learning how to cox myself. So it was great. We had a great bit of fun, and I think the result was great as well.
It sure was. It was an excellent result. So congratulations, you girls. You worked hard. You deserve it. And have a fun night.
Thank you.
Oh my God, my heart is melting. All right, so we're going to take a little break now.
Hey!
The lift wasn't working and he was in pain, so I tried to lift him on my own. Yes, it's bad. I'll need help.
Can I help you with that?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
Focused on quality and convenience, there isn't much you won't find at Marie's Mini Mart. Home-style breads, sandwiches, plus a variety of artisan breads and delicious single-serve desserts available exclusively at our Frecker Drive location. Marie's Mini Mart, with 25 locations wherever you go, there we are.
we are back here live at the 201st Royal St. John's Regatta, Lakeside, myself and Diana, and we've somehow conned our way in to Goose Shirts.
All right, Mike the Goose.
So this is Mike the Goose. He's a staple here at Kitty Vitty Lake. Like we mentioned earlier, Universal Corporate Wear took it upon themselves to have this shirt designed with this legendary epic goose who's just making a big old squawk all the time. Every time you're at the lake, this duck or goose, he's never happy.
No.
So as the rowers, we've named him Mike, and now we have Mike on a shirt forever for the rest of time.
But I don't think we can find him today, though. He seems to be absent today.
Oh, he probably played Regatta Roulette last night.
That's right. He's not here today.
Well, this is a big thanks to Lynn Hindy for, of course, all of her sponsorship at the Regatta this year, and also for our goose shirts.
Absolutely.
I think they look pretty good.
I do too. We ordered red, so we're still with the Rogers theme of the red color. But anyway, we switched shirts now. We're going to support Mike right now.
And we are less than an hour away from the female championship race, scheduled to start at 6:30 p.m. Right now it's about 5:45. So those crews are now getting warmed up. They're practicing on the rowing machines. They're talking about their race strategy. They're getting geared up to come down here and push their bodies to the absolute physical max for the second time today. So it's going to be exciting championship races for sure.
Right, so we're just getting ready now. As you can hear the cheering for the last male squirt race today, the final race. That was race 25. So these guys are just getting ready to get their medals, and then we're going to take a bit of a supper break before we proceed to set up for the championship races.
I'd like to ask the JMJ Holdings Limited crew to come forth
So Lynn Healy with the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee has been navigating these medal presentations and award ceremonies all day that are going on behind us. And yeah, it's really nice way to honor all of the participants, especially in the squirt categories. Everybody gets a medal. Doesn't matter what place you come in, everyone gets a medal, as it should be. We want to see these squirts coming back year after year after year. So they'll be the future of the regatta. So this is so great to see these kids having such a good time. They're age 10, 11, maybe 12. But these are our youngest participants. They wear a life jacket when they're in the boat, and getting their medals right now are the male squirt races. And I don't know if we're going to be able to talk to the winners of the male squirts, but hopefully we will.
Yeah, we are actually, so that we're going to conclude with having a conversation with them. We're just going to go through all the crews there now. I think it's only fair that we have that conversation. So John Barron and the juniors, the top six, the winning crew for this race. So his young fellow Jack Barrington, so I suspect probably keep the camera on the crews that are all receiving medals here.
Yep. So this is male squirt race number 1, the final race of the regularly scheduled program, and we're less than an hour away from the championship race.
Congratulations to the JMJ Holdings Limited crew.
So we're going to get some quick pictures.
Congratulations to the JMJ Holdings Limited crew. Well done, boys. Now we're going to proceed with the presentation of the 4th place medal. So this is to the Madsen crew. If that crew could come forward, please.
So the Madsen crew is, we talked about it a little bit earlier today, Darren Hyde, who's well known for his participation in the regatta. So his son, as I mentioned earlier,
Okay,
was,
Madsen crew. with coxswain Darren Hyde, stroke Simon Shanahan, other crew members Andrew Percy, Brody Stevens, Ethan Walsh, Seth Hyde, Grant
History
Clark,
regatta, and he talked
Luke
about his
Piercy,
great-grandfather
with
apparently.
Coach Darren Hyde and manager Jackie Hyde. Congratulations to the Madsen crew. Presenting the medals on behalf of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee are Bill Drover and Sharon Kostrover. Congratulations.
Coxon of that group, and he's also the coach. And I also see Jackie Howard there, so the two of them are with their sons, so it's a real family affair, which is great to see. That's sort of what's going to keep the regatta going for these folks. So big smiles on them, what a great bunch of kids they are. Awesome job. So that is our third place team in the Squirt male race. So now we're going to,
Congratulations
sorry,
to
the
the Madsen
fourth place team. So now we're going to move on to the third place team in that Squirt race. So the third place crew coming up there now.
Now we're going to move to the presentation of the third place medals. Rowing in stake 2 with a time of 3:19.93, Boland and Associates. If the Boland and Associates crew could come forward, please.
So once again,
comprised of coxswain Gary Squires.
Gary Squires is the
stroke
coxswain.
Ethan Power.
No stranger to the regatta.
Andrew Squires, Leo Avery.
That's the good thing about all these guys who have rowed for so many years down here in the regatta. Now they're down and they're coaching and coxing their kids.
To the Boland and Associates
And they're just contributing so much to the regatta, which is awesome to see. So there's Gary with the boys now getting their hardware.
Presenting the medals on behalf of the Royal St. John's Regatta Committee are past President Gail Malone and Sharon Kostrover.
Awesome job there, boys. So we have two more crews, now the second and first place finish in that Squirt male race. And we're going to have a quick conversation with the winners of that race.
Congratulations to Boland and Associates.
So interesting enough, for the second place and the first place finish in this race, we have a competition of the Barringtons. So Patrick Barrington, of course, and John Barrington Jr. are brothers, and they have a long history here of regatta volunteer and participation and championships as well. So they had a good rivalry going, and both the boys were coxing their sons this year in the regatta.
Well done.
And of course, if you want to know something about being competitive there, their father, John Barrington Sr., has a extensive history of volunteering and contributing to the regatta. He's been a builder, and he's been a coxswain, he's been a coach, and he's been a rower. And he's pretty intense, let me tell you. John and I have had our interesting discussions over the years, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I do recall one time he told me that the women should be rowing up a Monday Pond, but I know he has a granddaughter now who's quite the athlete, so I suspect, I'm hoping that he's changed his attitude towards that now. So there they are now with Patrick Barrington collecting their medals. So great job, boys. And we have one more team now to collect medals today, and then we're going to conclude for about 45 minutes, I guess, until the championship teams come back and we get them set up. we'll take a bit of a break here. We did sort of carry on longer than we anticipated, but we did want to make sure the Squirt crews got acknowledged the same as all the senior crews all day long. So I don't suspect that's the last we've seen of these boys. A lot of these kids, like we had mentioned already, are multi-sports. So I suspect a lot of these guys are playing different sports together in that, such as hockey and soccer and that type of thing. So I'm sure it crosses over, and I'm sure we'll see them back on the pond again next year. Most of these crews, too, if they don't end up staying together, then the bulk of the team will stay together, and then they'll pick up some other rowers, which is perfect. So it's a good way to keep going. So final photo lap for the second place team, and now final we got the gold medal team coming in. And that is the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club.
Congratulations, boys. TD Bank.
So that's the final medal presentation coming up there now.
Present the gold medal to the first place
And as I said, that's John Barrington Jr.
With a time of 2:49.10, the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club. Congratulations, boys.
So then we're going to have a quick chat with that crowd, then before that crew, before we go off the TV for this evening. We're going to get Amanda to have a quick conversation with them.
Congratulations to the Stroke and Bow Rowing Club.
Yep.
Presenting
they're
the gold medal
just getting
on
their
behalf
medals
of the
there
Boys
now.
and John's Regatta Committee is Gail Malone, past president, accompanied by Sharon Koss-Drover.
So these boys did have the fastest time in time trials, and then they carried on with that success today, and then they were able to win their race. So we're just going to get ready now. Amanda's going to get these guys down and